I'm protesting anyway.
You're gonna protest anyway? I'm sorry about that, Mars. What do you have to say? We're just gonna sit here. Sup? You have anything to say? Nothing? Hmm. I hope you know I can do this all day. You said you had a protest? We're waiting. Do you hear me? I don't hear Shaq. I don't hear you, Shaq. I really don't hear you, bro, at all.
Yerp.
Hello.
Can you hear?
Yeah, I
Can you
hear
hear
you.
me now?
Yeah, I hear you, bro. Mars is upset.
Oh, what's up, Mars? Can you hear me? What's up, Mars? What's up?
For the last 2 minutes, me and Mars have just been staring at each other.
Why?
I've been waiting for this protest that he's said that he was gonna get off.
About who and what? What player?
2 players to the top right and bottom middle.
What's going on? I just know that April 1st, you and Legend of Winning better be ready. Can I not hear Mars's audio? Y'all got some dirt on me? Y'all acting crazy.
I'm waiting for Mars to.
What are we waiting for? Send the link out since Mars doesn't want to talk. I haven't heard Mars's voice in so long. Pause.
That is crazy. I guess we'll just send the link out to everybody. I was waiting for Mars to get off his protest about either Moses Malone or whatever he's being silent about, but I guess we're just gonna wait for everybody else to come on. Here we go.
Mars, we haven't talked in a long. In so long. It's kind of hurting me that you're not saying what's up, but it's okay.
I got three super chats. Starting the stream right with this L Dub super chat. Mars is up past his bedtime because of your shenanigans.
Oh, is that why Mars is mad?
I posted it in the last live, but
That's legit.
I posted it in the last live. But Dub, would you rather have Cat or Randall as your best player? And what are your thoughts on the Bears trade? I would rather have Cat. And my thoughts on the Bears trade is that was a phenomenal trade. Aramis
Mars, I
Jones.
apologize, but I do want you to know that. Oh, let Aramis get his shit off.
Mars. That's all he got. There you go.
No, Aramis, I wanted you to. Not Aramis, Mars. I wanted you to I wanted to apologize, but I knew that you're like an hour behind me in the UK. It's like 12:48 there, right? 11:48 there, probably. No, we're not talking, but it's one of those. It's not too late. I apologize, though, Mars, for taking up your time without further notice.
All right. Let's get ready to rumble, man. I want to remind everybody that I am going to focus in on Aramis with another one. Talk. Aramis is crazy. But I want to remind everybody, Big Ox Bob is trying to get up here. We are doing a new thing of me moving guests out to getting you guys up here, so just keep that in mind when I do move people out of here that haven't been up here before. I do have to keep that in mind. So we're gonna get some guys up here.
Oh shit.
Guys.
He's in the same room. What's going on?
Hello, Leaf.
I was here since 6, bro.
Dub. Shaq. Mars.
What's up, bro?
What's good, Leaf?
You know, Dub, I got so much respect for you, bro. Like
Bobby joined.
Huh?
My bad. I was giving Bobby a cue to join.
Oh. Dub, I got so much respect for you that in the last 4 to 5 days, I said, you know what? I ain't gonna do nothing. I ain't gonna say nothing about none of the stuff you've been spewing out for the past 5 days has been horrific.
Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second.
Horrific.
Give me 1 second. Aramis Jones wants us to tell Mars, if you don't talk, I'm not coming back.
That's crazy.
Mars took a vow of silence or something? Or what happened? What you do?
He's not talking for the first 10 minutes. So
Mars is disrespecting Aramis after all he's done for Mars.
I mean, disrespecting Aramis. That's crazy, man. Like Aramis
said it in chat before he's gonna start the live. So
Aramis is probably the biggest supporter. But hey Dub, how many more teams you gonna put Chris Paul on before you realize, bro, that he's not gonna ever win anything? You do realize that I heard you put him on the 2009 Nuggets yesterday, right? Mm-hmm. Remember, we've been through this. We've been through this circle before. You tried to put him on the 2011 Celtics. That didn't work.
You know what's so funny about this? You keep naming scenarios that can't be proven. So you saying it didn't work is a false statement in itself because none of us knows if it will work or not. You're just assuming, right?
Dub.
You're just assuming, right?
You brought these up.
No, remember, you asked me the question, and then I gave you answers, and then you're mad about the answers.
I never asked you anything.
Yes, you did.
No.
No.
Dub. Remember this. Hold up.
This started on my show, and you asked.
Dub, you got all day. I ain't got that much time. Look, this all started. You got triggered when I told you that Chris Paul, when he's the best player on your team, you're not winning a championship. That's what triggered you. That's when you got triggered.
And I said I disagree.
Yes, and I told you that. And then you started running off scenarios all crazy.
I said I disagreed.
You said you disagree.
I said that a lot of times where he didn't win when he was the number one guy, it resulted in a lot of injuries. You feel me? And then you asked me what team can we put him on. I gave you teams, and you just disagreed.
I said what team? I ain't say teams. And then you went down. I didn't say teams. I said
Boston Celtics. I said the Boston.
You said 2011 Celtics. I just
2011 Celtics, 2012 Celtics,
2012 Thunder, and then yesterday you put them on the 09 Nuggets.
The Thunder could have been there. The 09 Nuggets, yes.
And then I'm looking at. I'm like, yo, what is? I'm like, is this?
If you don't think that upgrading from Chauncey Billups to CP3 could give them the edge, I mean, I don't know what else to say.
Is it an upgrade, Dub?
You want to? Oh, hold up. Wait, Dub. Do you want to know what happened to Chris Paul in 2009? I know.
He lost.
No, he didn't just lose. He got manhandled by who? The Denver Nuggets. If you want to go look back at that series, you can. Because I know you got the lights on, bro. Your skin is
Do you
glowing
know?
right
Do you
now.
know? Do you know what Chauncey? Do you know what Chauncey did in 09 versus the Lakers?
What did Chauncey do? Tell me.
Aramis, I appreciate your super chats. Thank you for the super chats, Aramis Jones.
See, it's been 10 minutes.
Yeah, it has been 10 minutes.
Fine.
Yeah. Hey, welcome, Mars.
Chauncey had 16. My hands are here. Chauncey had 16 and below 40%.
What was Chris Paul doing that year? In that postseason?
I'm not gonna pull up the numbers, so I don't.
You're
know.
not gonna pull up the numbers. Oh, okay.
Do you want me to pull up the numbers now? I don't
you
have
can.
The numbers
You know Chauncey's. You gave me Chauncey's.
Yeah. So Chris Paul, what he did against the Nuggets was 16, 41, and 31. Even
16?
then, with 16, 41, and 31, the tennis says even then, even with him being the number one guy on that team, he still performed better than Chauncey Billups.
He still performed better than Chauncey Billups. So we swapping out 2009. So you're swapping out 2009 Chris Paul that year for 2009 Chauncey that year.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Better scoring, better passing.
But no. What does it lead to anything? Does it lead
like
to the Nuggets doing anything? Because I would assume that you put him. No. Because I would assume that you put him on this team for them to like raise a little. That's what I assumed.
Put him on the team will elevate the offense of the Denver Nuggets because they struggled mainly because they were playing off of Melo, and then the Lakers were able to key in on him. But even then, he just wasn't hitting a lot of shots. So adding CP3, a guy who could add pressure to the Lakers defense as another scorer, unlike Chauncey Billups was at that time, being a great passer and facilitator, a better passer and facilitator than Chauncey Billups. I mean, I don't think 1 + 1 = 2. So a guy who's better in those facets of the game, which is truly impactful, would give them an edge.
Okay. All right. One more time. If you swap them out, what do the Nuggets do differently against the Lakers? Well, how far do they go? Where they going?
Well, the Lakers won the chip that year, so if they beat the Lakers, they're probably going to win the chip.
You swapping that Chris Paul out with that version of Chauncey, they're winning the West all of a sudden.
Yes.
Anybody in here believe it? Look, Shaq just left. Anybody in here believe that?
We could drop this topic, bro.
Bobby?
I didn't hear it. So.
Did Denver win a championship with Chris Paul instead of Chauncey Billups?
It's likely. I don't know. It's a hypothetical, so like I can't say definitively yes because I don't know, honestly.
In 2009.
Never mind the hypotheticals.
So are you saying do they already beat the Lakers in this hypothetical? Are they going up against Orlando Magic?
No, they have to. No, you don't just get them past the Lakers.
That's what I'm saying.
They have to beat the Lakers.
I genuinely don't know if they would still beat the Lakers. They definitely could if you add Chris Paul. Yeah, they definitely could beat the Lakers. I think so.
Well, that's my point. This is just a hypothetical, so I'm just saying
that's what I'm saying. I don't know.
All I'm saying is that I think that they could. It's just a difference in opinion. By you saying you put them on a scenario just didn't work, you're just lying because we don't even know if it could have worked or not. I just think it could.
You're right. You absolutely right. You don't think you absolutely right about what I said and backpedaling that. I know.
I'm not backpedaling anything.
No. I said I backpedal.
Okay.
No, I said I backpedal. I'm not saying you. I said I backpedal on that. But never mind. You said you don't want to talk about this subject. We'll do it another time. What was the whole Giannis thing yesterday that you went on? Obviously on your channel, you talked about how Giannis digressed. Obviously, you went straight to Basketball Reference first minute into your video, and then you talked about the percentages and this, that, and the third. I don't recall anybody anywhere, anytime, other than you, maybe, and maybe Mars. I'm gonna leave you out of this. And Low referring and speaking on Giannis and speaking on efficiency and field goal percentage and all of the stuff that you talked about how he digressed.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Let me ask you this. The Bucks got to go on.
Let me ask you this, Leaf. If a guy 1 year makes a certain amount of shots, then the next year misses more than the shots he made last year, wouldn't you say that he regressed a bit?
If he's averaging more points, no.
But what if those points would just be explained by him just increasing his production by 2 shots?
if it's leading to the team, if it's leading to more team success, then what problem
do you think that a player can be on a successful team and still regress?
Yes.
So why can't that apply to Giannis?
You said why can't it apply to Giannis? Because
Yes.
the points that you're using that Giannis has regressed is based on percentages.
It's based on no. You only have to bring percent. It's based on the fact he's missing more shots.
Okay, he's
no
missing,
percentages. No percentage. He's missing more shots.
He's missing more shots. Okay, and
from the free throw, from the mid range, from the three, even at the rim, he's still missing more shots than.
Isn't that just based on percentages?
No. Yes, it is percentages, but
Okay.
it's still he's just missing more shots.
You can't say no percentages and then say something that's based on percentages.
He's just missing more shots. He's just missing more shots.
He's missing more shots.
I'm so confused. What's the like whole sentiment right now? What's the argument?
The reason Mars, the reason why I say missing more shots is because everybody accounts for this. If you start missing more shots than we're used to you making, we all be like, nah, he doesn't really look the same. But the thing is, he keeps talking about percentages. Well, yeah, percentages does matter a bit, but since you don't want to use percentages, I'll just go with the blanket statement. He's just missing more shots.
Wait, but the thing I'm confused about is if we're talking about like, I'm assuming you're talking about like Giannis is like shooting around like the basket besides the rim. Is that a good assumption or no?
All across the board, he's
low.
But
other than his rim finishing, like I never seen Giannis as a shooter. So when I think about like his game in terms of like the in between, the mid range, short midi, long midi, whatever it is, he wasn't really like always like he wasn't consistently good at that. Like it was improving, but it wasn't to the point where I can see like a steady improvement. Then he had it for a long amount of time, and then it started to decline. It was like improved, and then it went straight down like this year. So like I can't say
when I'm comparing,
he wasn't consistently good at it.
When I'm comparing these players, when we're talking about regression, we're talking about comparing them to themselves, correct?
Yeah.
So when a guy is shooting his lowest percentages over since the year 2019, which is like 3 years ago, doesn't that mean he regressed?
Yeah, you can. I can understand and agree with what you're saying, but I think that Giannis was showing like someone who was like a good enough like shooter on other like on the floor and other spots besides the rim to be considered like regressing, because he didn't do it for like a long amount of time. Like it was just like he was improving, then he had like a shot a year, and then he was started to improve again. Like last year, I think he was relatively all right, and then like this year he's just bad. Like
he went from average. He went from like average to slightly below to now he's just terrible. His his percentages at the rim is lower. This is all if somebody's having their career worst shooting percentages all across the board ever since before he was like the star, I don't understand how.
So Dub, the topic is just him. Right.
Hold on, wait, my bad. Freshie, are you talking? And then Mars has a question too. If you're talking, I think you're muted. So I don't.
Yeah, I think he might be muted.
Yeah, we can't hear you, bro.
He's muted in the call. He might just have to.
Yeah. I think he's muted.
Said the mic isn't. It says his mic isn't connected
or something.
Mm-hmm.
Dub, I hate to be devil's advocate here. You know, I appreciate you letting me up on the show, but I gotta say it sounds like a lot of basketball right now, brother.
Well, that's why I said you don't have to bring up the percentages. If a guy's just missing more shots, wouldn't you say that he is regressing a bit?
Missing more shots is based on percentages.
But Mars, I'm just taking out the damn term and just saying.
No, I got told, because when I said take away the numbers, James Harden is more efficient than Allen Iverson. I got told efficiency is numbers. So you can't say he's missing more shots and say take away the percentages. Taking away the percentages based on the numbers. It's still based on numbers. You're just not saying the numbers. That's it.
I don't know.
That's what basketball is, Mars.
So everyone's talking about numbers.
Yes, bro.
Okay, interesting.
I don't know if Giannis
Go ahead, Mars.
Did Steph regress in 2017?
No, 2017 is a bit different. Because he had a KD.
What makes it different?
Because he had a KD.
So does Giannis not missing Chris Middleton this year add to his own self-creation responsibilities. And we all know if you have to create your own shot more, you're more than likely to be less efficient. So couldn't you just say Giannis without Chris Middleton has a larger responsibility offensively, leading to him taking more outside shots and therefore missing more outside shots?
He's not taking more outside shots. That would be applicable if he did. He's not taking more outside shots.
Is he taking more shots?
Is he taking more shots than he has?
Yes.
I don't know his shots in total. I'll check the total shots.
What, is he taking more jump shots? That's what I mean.
No, he's not taking more jump shots. He's actually taking less.
He's taking less. He's taking less.
Wait, hold on. I have it here. Last year he shot, and this is all mid-range shots, like just every single mid-range shot. He shot 421 shots, and then this year he's already at 316. So there you go.
Okay. So he's taking less.
He's at 316.
Yeah, and last year I think it was 421.
So he's on pace to do damn near the same he's about to do last season.
Yeah, but last year he was at 41% when it came to all mid-range jump shots. This year he's at 29, which could be the case because of like spacing issues. Because like Mars said, Chris Middleton's not there, so he has to deal with like just a smaller space to work with, pretty much.
Also, just more self-creation. He's just creating for himself more, whether that's getting to the rim or taking jump shots or in the post. It's just more self-creation. I'm sure if you looked at numbers of how many of his shots are assisted or whatever, I'm sure he would look like he's being assisted less this year just because he has more responsibility. Does that not play a factor in him being less efficient?
It could play a factor, but when your numbers drop that steeply, Mars, like we could tax him for that, but the numbers drop dramatically, correct?
I don't know. You tell me the numbers. I know his mid-range shot hasn't been dropping this year.
We talking about just shooting. That's what we're talking about.
His shooting. I'll give you it because the drop off that would be applicable, Mars, but the drop off for Giannis is very steep. So I'll tell you.
So we
hold on. Give me 1 second. 2023, he's had from 10 to 14 feet is 69. 15 to 19 feet is 116. 20 to 24 feet is 18.
That's this year.
That's the attempts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mars, I'm looking at it now.
20.
You would be wrong. So.
Who?
Oh, damn.
Mars. Last year he got assisted on. This is all just mid-range shots. Last year he was assisted on 29%. This year is 38. So
he's got assisted more.
Yeah.
Damn.
So there you go. Look at you, Mars.
So wait.
I was guessing.
Not to stop.
And then the shots 10 to 14 was 125 last season. The season's not over yet, but 125 last season, 112 the season, 112 from 15 to 19. And then 2024 it was 28, and the 25 to 29 was 210, which was crazy.
So wait, he said he assisted on more shots, more mid-range shots this year. That means he made more mid-range shots this year being assisted on than he made last year.
What?
You said he was assisted on. He was assisted on mid-range shots. That means he made them.
He was assisted more on mid-range shots this year than last year. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that means he made more assisted.
He made more last year than he did this year.
The percentage of the mid-range shots he's made this year, 38% of all the shots he's made, however many he's made, 38% of them are assisted. Of all the mid-range shots he made last year, I think he said 29% of them were assisted.
Yeah.
So he created them for himself 71% of the time last year and 62% of the time this year.
It doesn't have to do with like make or miss. Like, he made more because he was assisted more on them. So they're on pace to beat like what he did last year, but he could still match it if he plays more. But
all I'm saying, the excuse of just because his team is winning so he can't regress, I don't agree with that way of thinking. The excuse of Chris Middleton being there is just not an excuse because Chris Middleton wasn't that great last season too, so I'm not hearing that. And even then, that doesn't excuse the fact that he dropped off dramatically. He dropped off by more than. He dropped off by more than 10%.
So wait, Dub, something is inconsistent about what you've been saying about not just Giannis but the Bucks. If you're saying the team has been successful, or you just said the team has been successful without him. They started the season 10-0. They just came off a 16-game winning streak or whatever. You had earlier in this week, you had a show where you said the Bucks are not the favorite. And then yesterday you say Giannis is digressing. I'm like, so which one is it, bro?
What are you talking about?
No, I'm asking you which one is it? Is it the Bucks are not the favorite, or is Giannis regressing? Or
It's both.
It's both.
Yes.
I don't understand how the Bucks are not the favorite.
If Giannis regressed, he's not the same way he was. I would not consider them the favorite, especially with Boston playing the way that he has. Especially with Chris, they lost to Boston last season, and Giannis was a better version of himself. Chris Middleton not being himself at all also comes into the equation. And Boston being better this season, I would consider them the favorites over Milwaukee because Giannis has regressed.
But when you say the Bucks players have got better, when you say Drew has got better,
Drew's the same guy.
Brook Lopez,
yes.
Bobby Portis, bro.
Bobby's the same guy.
They all the same. So
yes, they are.
Are you saying he doesn't have a case for MVP? Is that what you're trying to say right now?
No, I'm asking.
Giannis.
No,
I think he does. I think he does.
No, I gotta ask you though, Dub. When you say like just this might be a dumb question, but I just want to be sure. When you say he regressed, you're saying he's less good this year than he was last year?
Yes.
And that's the reason. And that's the reason why the Bucks. And that's the sole reason why the Bucks are not the favorite.
Just based on shooting percentages from the mid range.
It's not even that. I mean, just
the free throws have got worse as well. I know
free throws is bad. On top of the free throws being bad, bro. Giannis, I mean, the injury could be in play. I know he's been battling injury all year, so that could be a portion of it too. He just doesn't look the same to me right now as he was last season. I think last season he was just far better shooter and a better passer and decision maker.
I'm not gonna lie though. I think the favoritism like between Milwaukee and the Celtics is really and truly those are like the only two teams. Maybe Philly, depending. I don't know, but like really and truly those are like the only two teams that like people look at seriously in the NBA in terms of like the Eastern Conference. But Giannis, I don't know if they were to match up again. Obviously, Chris Middleton would help in terms of like spacing and just having another secondary threat instead of Drew Holiday having all that offensive responsibility because he has to take care of the defensive end as well, being there like one of their best defenders as well. But since Brook Lopez improved, as well as Chris Middleton even being there, like it helps with Giannis being better in the half court. Because like,
wouldn't you say?
I'm not gonna lie.
Wouldn't you say in 2021, right?
Yeah.
If Giannis, because they only do like this whole they got deeper and stuff. I heard that before. They're deeper. They only going to be playing 8 guys, sometimes even 9 guys in the rotation, right? So majority of the load from the offense is going to be coming from Chris and Giannis. So in 2021, they needed Giannis to play at this level. They needed Chris to play in the level he's playing at. And if both of those guys are showing me that they're not the same as they were in that season, why in a tougher conference right now, why would I sit here and assume that they're the favorites?
Who's Boston gonna be playing with? They running with like 8 or 9, right? Because
no, but Boston. The thing is, Boston's bench.
Jaylen Brown has been hurt.
Like, yeah, but the thing is, though, Boston's bench has been like very, very, very good this year. Like especially Malcolm Brogdon and Derek White. Those two like can genuinely like on a very good night in a playoff scenario, they can both give you 20. Like so, like I'm being so serious when I say this. Like they're
true.
That's
true.
Derek White can give.
They're very, very good, and obviously their defense in of itself has been good this year too, and they just improved overall as an offense. Like Missoula like has unlocked that team to be like one of the best offenses in the league. So when I look at both teams, I think both teams have their flaws. Like Tatum and Brown, I'm still like a bit iffy on in terms of like how they're gonna face like good like defenders in terms of a half court playoff scenario. They still have like some handling issues to me, but they also do have like positives that would give Milwaukee trouble. Like their spacing and in terms of ball movement, they can put Brook Lopez in a lot of actions. They can put Giannis in some uncomfortable defensive scenarios too, right? So it just depends on like how are they going to scheme against each other. And Milwaukee can do the same thing because of the fact that Boston has so many wings to help off Giannis, and they're actually really good in terms of like pre-switching. Like they're a very good team in terms of doing that. I've seen them do it against the Warriors too. So they can close out on Brook, they can close out on Bobby, they can close out on Drew. We've all been having like solid years in terms of just shooting the basketball. So it literally just all depends. Like that, it just all depends. I need to see them play more, but like
I want to clarify. I haven't called the Bucks not contenders.
No. All I'm saying
is that they shouldn't be the favorites.
They shouldn't be the favorites.
Their expectations shouldn't be higher when they won the chip in 2021. It seems as if they're worse. They're Giannis and Chris Middleton, the two guys where they relied on heavily. It seems as if they have gotten a bit worse this season. I don't understand how their expectations are higher because of that.
But based on this season, starting 10-0 and having a 16.
Start 10-0. A month ago, people weren't even on the Bucks train until the 16-1 run.
A month ago, they didn't lose it. Other than the game that they just lost the other night, they didn't lose a game until January. It's been other teams that's been getting headlines. That's all it was.
Before this run started that they were on, because I don't remember the exact date. Before this run started, if I would have said this at that time, nobody would have been saying anything.
They were still number 2.
I know, but
it didn't mean anything.
If I were to say that they weren't the favorites, nobody would have said anything. Everybody has been criticizing the Bucks the whole season. They go on this run facing hurt teams after hurt teams, facing trash teams as well. They beat Boston without Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. They beat Denver without Jokic. They beat the Clippers without Kawhi. They beat the Suns without KD. I even think they even beat the Lakers without LeBron. I'm not sure about that though. And you guys are praising this because it's the Bucks and Giannis's name is
no. It's not just that. It's because Boston, after the All-Star break, they had gimme games that they should have won. But like, come on, you can't. They lost to the Knicks twice, and then they lost to us.
Hey Dub, I'm gonna jump off, bro. They doing some work up on my roof. It's too loud. I can't even unmute my mic, but
no problem.
I'll catch y'all. I appreciate y'all for letting me up anyway, though.
All right, Bobby.
Be safe, bro.
Easy, bro. Light the beam.
Yeah, of course, light the beam. Yo, Dub, this is the same team that blew a 28-point lead, the biggest lead of the year at home against my Nets, and then they lost twice in a week to the Knicks.
Let me ask you this.
We did this topic for 2 hours on Tuesday.
I don't want to talk about it more, but I want to ask Leaf this last question. When the Lakers beat the Golden State Warriors, remember that? When the Lakers beat the Golden State Warriors back in 2017 or 2018, did you question
2017, 2018?
2017, 2018, when they upset the Lakers in the beginning of the season, did you question the Golden State Warriors as if they were a contender or the favorites in the West? Just because of that game?
Not in the beginning of the season, but I will say this.
There were still some gimme games that happened there's gimme games that happens with everybody.
But
so you
not
just
after the All-Star break. After the All-Star break?
Listen, Leaf. We could do this on my channel, and I will bring up a lot of examples because I don't have them with me right now. There's clear examples where good teams after the All-Star break were still losing games like this. It happens. Miami were still favorites. Miami were still favorites in 2014, 2013, but they would lose some games towards the end of the season. Like it is what it is.
With other teams in the same conference being contenders around it, we will talk about it. But I did see the title of the video. Yeah, I wanted to talk about what was it, Moses?
Yeah.
Jesus
come on, Mars, don't do that.
I'm guessing that hey, wait, hold on. I'm guessing that you want to start this off. Damn, I forgot your name, Mars. I guess you want to start this whole Moses thing off.
Why do you think I want to start it?
Mars, this is your take, bro.
You probably I've been hearing a lot of.
Dub, who came up with this title?
I'm listening. Wait. I've been hearing a lot more about you on Moses than anything, but I'm guessing.
Dub, who came up with the title for this show?
I did.
You did?
So why do you want me to talk about it first?
No, I'm just at. I just
Mars,
that was just random. My bad, bro.
Because this whole week I had been talking this whole time about the Bucks.
Because you make the title, so the takes come from you.
No.
All right, Dub, you could go first.
Mars,
Mars. What's your grief with
Leave.
If you make the title of the video, why would you not talk about it first?
You said
if I made a title saying Larry Bird's a fraud, then I would talk about why Larry Bird is a fraud. You made the title.
I made the title.
Overrated. And then Dub said, I'll tell you guys what happened. Dub sent JD the title. Moses Malone is overrated. Mars, this is for you.
Yep.
He just put. I never asked to talk about Moses Malone. I think I even replied to it saying wow. I'm pretty sure I replied to it saying wow.
You have been talking pretty negative about Moses.
I don't talk. My issue with Moses Malone, it comes more from accolade merchants. If you're an accolade merchant, you rate him way higher than I think he deserves to be.
But
I think he's a good player. I don't think he's top 15. Oh, those offensive rebounds are kind of suspect. But I will say if we're gonna talk about Moses Malone, let's go. I think Moses Malone isn't a top 15 player like people tried to paint him as. I think he has 3 MVPs, and obviously he has the championship, and he won Finals MVP. So people, I think, elevate him to a level he's not at. I think his longevity also gets overstated. I don't think he played 20 years, but if you actually look at those years, like
how many of them was like prime years?
Like the last,
years?
were the last 5 Kareem?
I'd say,
the last.
I'd say he had like 7 or 8 high level years, and then maybe like 1 or 2 like good high level years, but not prime years, and then everything else other than that was kind of eh. So I think the longevity gets overstated.
Wait, didn't he start his career in the ABA?
I'd say, yeah, he played like 2 years in the ABA, I think.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I think he played 2 in the ABA, and then he came into the NBA. And I think in like his second year in the NBA, I'd say he became a good player. And then I think he had like 8 years from like 79 to 86. I'd say he was at a high level player. Every other year, other than that, not really moving me. I think he gets overrated because like he has years where he averages like 25 and 15. So you look at the numbers, you're like, this guy's crazy. Then like you watch games or you watch as much as you can of him. I'm like, he's a weird player. He's a weird player to judge because if you watch him, he's a terrible passer. He wasn't a good defender, but he was a fantastic rebounder, and that elevated a lot of his scoring. So a lot of his scoring will come off either putbacks or he's getting fouled on offensive rebounds and getting free throws. Didn't have much to his game in terms of isolation, but that would be where the other bulk of his points would come from. It's like if you watch him, his game is just so weird to evaluate because he's an isolation scorer, so that loses some sort of value. But then he's also one of the best offensive rebounders of all time, so that gains offensive value. Then you look at him defensively, wasn't a great rim protector, wasn't a great paint protector, wasn't very mobile, wasn't greatly aware, wasn't a great one-on-one defender, would often get caught even not wanting to jump or he just couldn't get off the ground very quickly. And then his team defense wasn't great. I think my biggest issue with him is his passing and playmaking. He was just terrible. I think if you were going to compare him to centers, like if we were going prime for prime, he's obviously not on the level of the top 5 guys. So Kareem, Hakeem, Shaq, Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain. No one should ever say he's better than any of them. If you do, you're lying. Then you got guys like David Robinson, who I don't think he's better than. Then you got guys like Patrick Ewing. I don't know if he's better than prime for prime. Jokic, of course, I'm going to say Jokic is better, but people are going to disagree with that. But I don't think he's better. I don't think he's better than Jokic.
Is he better than Dwight?
Peak Dwight over peak Moses. It depends on what you value. Because Dwight obviously clears him as a defender and provides excellent paint protection. He was more mobile and was more of a lob threat. But then you got with Moses, what you have is a center who had decent touch on like jump shots out to like 12 to 15 feet. But you have one of the best rebounders of all time. So that game transports anywhere. You put a great rebounder anywhere, that only helps your team. You can never deny that impact.
What you think he a better rebounder peak wise than Dwight?
Moses Malone, yeah. I think Moses Malone, if we're going peak for if we're just going rebounders, simply rebounding, I think you've got Wilt and Bill Russell, Dennis Rodman, and Moses Malone. And then Moses Malone. Those are like, how many names did I say? That's the top 4 in my opinion.
I'm not really educated.
And then Charles Barkley would probably be like 5th. Yeah. But I'd say I'm taking Moses over Dwight. I'm not taking him over Jokic. I'm not taking Moses over prime Embiid.
As a rebounder or a player?
As a player. Okay. What other centers have we got? Trying to think.
You said Ewing. You said
I got Ewing.
David Robinson.
I got David Robinson. Ewing is questionable. David Robinson is clear to me.
You said
Kareem. The top 5 clear. David Robinson, that's 6. Jokic is 7. And
Dwight,
Shaq. You didn't say Shaq.
No, Shaq's part of the big 5.
No, Shaq's part of the big 5. Yeah.
So then you got David Robinson, Jokic. Embiid is someone who peak Embiid I'm taking over any version of Moses Malone. If you say this version of Embiid versus any year of Moses Malone, this Embiid is better than him.
I'm just looking at a list. Bill Walton, saying names.
Peak Bill Walton is better than peak Moses Malone. He just didn't have the longevity, but Bill Walton was also a better player than him. Bill Walton was a much better defender, much better passer.
So you taking Moses? So you taking Moses all time? Then
yeah, Moses is. I think Moses is top 25 all time for me. It's because he still had pretty good longevity. 10 high level years, I'd say. Couple like lower level years, and then everything else was just mid. But that 10 years, like it clears whatever Bill Walton was able to do. Bill Walton gave you 2.5 years, so he just can't make it. But if we're going peaks, he has the 3 MVP, so a lot of people will elevate that peak. I don't think that peak comes close to a lot of people. He won MVP in I think 1979. His team won 47 games. I'm like, not really moving me. I don't know how he got that MVP, but he got it. 1981, I think he was the MVP again, and that was the year he got to the finals.
Mm-hmm.
Magic Johnson choked in the first round, but and then what? I'm trying to think of more centers. Someone needs to name centers for me.
I'm looking. I mean, they're kind of mid. Yeah, Nate Thurman.
He's top 10. He's a top 10 center. I'm saying that.
Nate
top
Thurman.
I'm taking Moses over Nate Thurman. I have him. If we're going peak for peak or prime, whatever, he's like 9 or 10, 8, 9 or 10.
Robin Parrish, Wayne Embry, Wes Unseld. I don't.
Is AD a center?
AD.
No, AD peak AD is better than what Moses Malone was, but
I put AD at before. But
he's not a center.
But
if anyone is in the waiting room or in the chat and has Moses Malone in their top 15,
Wilt. I mean,
no, Wilt is in the big five. Wilt is in the big five.
Okay, so Wilt, Bill Russell,
Shaq, Hakeem, Kareem,
and Kareem. Who else? Kareem. Okay, and
that's the big five.
Okay.
Then David Robinson 6, Jokic 7, Joel Embiid 8, Bill Walton 9, and then I'll go Moses at 10. If we're going peaks, simply just peaks.
Wow. Okay. But
then
if we going
longevity, he surpasses Jokic, he surpasses Embiid, and he surpasses Bill Walton. But he's not over David Robinson.
He don't surpass on David Robinson.
No, he's not. He's not better than David Robinson. He's not.
All time, like
no, he's not better than David Robinson. Because David Robinson's peak is so high, and he still had. I'd say David Robinson had 9 years himself. So
I give him Moses 6, bro. I'm like
Moses Malone came in as a rookie all the way until 99, 2000. I'd say he was a high level player. That's 9-10 years.
Nah, I give him.
What years would you? So when do you think David Robinson wasn't a high level player anymore?
Okay, high level for David Robinson. Obviously, rookie of the year. He got that. I think he got a scoring title in 95. I think he got defensive player of the year, if I'm not mistaken, in 92.
I'll check.
92?
Sounds about right. I don't know.
91, 92.
It sounds about right.
Yeah. So 92. MVP 95. So I say from about 89, 90. What was it? 89, 90, right?
He came in the league in 89, 90. Yeah. I'd say 90. From that point until the title in 99. He was a high level, elite level NBA player. Then I think he had maybe 1 or 2 more years of high level impact, and then after that he was done. That's my opinion. Moses Malone also had 8-9 years of high level play.
I give him to about 96.
I don't see how you can say 96.
I give him to about 96. Like 90, at least until
that doesn't make sense to me. How is
90,
so
90,
in 90 in 97 in 98?
I'm gonna be fair.
How is he not a high level player?
I'm gonna be fair. I'm just going off of what I remember, bro. Like I'm gonna just be fair. I'm going to like 97, 98. I give him.
Yeah, well then we can agree to disagree. But anyway, I think David Robinson's peak is so far above. Even if David Robinson had 2 or 3 less years than Moses Malone,
damn
I'd still say he was a better player all time.
Damn good peak.
But yeah, I got Moses Malone on my list of centers. I got him about 7th all time. Peak, I got him 10th. And if someone has Moses Malone top 15 players of all time, I think you're capping. I'm sorry, it doesn't.
I got him top 20.
It doesn't. How?
Wait, when you said 96, are you talking about 95, 96 or 96, 97?
One of those years he was hurt. One of those.
He only played 6 games. What that 96, 97.
You said how? Top
20. How is he top 20? And just tell me, is it because of accolades? Just tell me if it's because of accolades.
If we go all time, yeah, top 20. I mean,
so there we go. That's why I said this is why this take is for the people who like will not love the accolades, but will value the accolades highly. If you go watch Moses Malone, he doesn't play to those accolades. I'm sorry, he doesn't.
He doesn't play to those accolades.
He doesn't play to those accolades. I don't know how else to say.
That's the first time I ever heard that.
There's no. Of anyone who's won 3 MVPs, I promise you Moses Malone is the worst player. I promise. I don't know how many people have 3 MVPs. No, he's the worst person with multiple MVPs. There's people who have won 1 MVP, Wes Unseld, and they're not very good. But Moses Malone is the worst person to have multiple MVPs. He's the worst player to have multiple MVPs.
Wait. Okay. All right. So
he can't.
The worst person with more than 1 MVP
You don't
The
fuck
worst
with
Yes, the
MVP.
worst person with multiple MVPs is easily Moses Malone.
I thought it would have been Carmelo. I thought it would have been Carmelo for you. But
He doesn't get ranked, but if I did rank him, he's the better Malone. Moses Malone is the second best Malone. Like he's not that good compared to these players. Compared to the conversation he gets put in, he's not that good. He's the all-time great, top 25 player for me.
I think we need to.
But he's the worst. He's the worst player with multiple MVPs.
You've been quiet though.
He's a better Andre Drummond.
I'm not saying.
Oh, that's
foul.
foul.
I'm not saying all that.
I'm not gonna lie. I came on to the show not wanting to talk, so Mars got it for the whole episode. I made this topic for him. I didn't feel like talking. You talk and Leaf. I did want to tell you something. The Bucks, after the All-Star break in 2021, went on 2 3-game losing streaks. Lost to Atlanta Hawks without Trae Young. Got blown out by the San Antonio Spurs. That was a championship that had gimmies after the All-Star break. So there's an example.
Moses Malone is not a better player than Steve
Okay,
Nash.
all right,
I'm sorry, he's not.
Who said that?
Okay, Dub, you said that.
The chat. They're saying Moses clears Nash. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
just a quick question.
Malone,
This is a quick question.
We could talk more about.
I didn't want to talk about Moses Malone, but this is what we're
We
doing.
can talk about.
Why is this the topic?
Dub made it up because I don't know, but Dub made it up, and now here I am talking about Moses Malone.
I don't talk about Moses Malone,
and I think Moses. I want to because now the title says Moses Malone is overrated, and I'm gonna get called a Moses Malone here, and I hate the old generation. He's a very good player. I mean,
you gave us a pretty brief description about.
I broke down his game. I said it depends on what you value. If you value someone who's a great rebounder, wasn't much in isolation, terrible passer, he's still to me easily the worst player with multiple MVPs. But that's of a selection of all-time
outside
greats.
of Carmelo, and he said
he
said he's the worst Malone. He said he's the worst.
He is
to Malone.
Well, you got Jeff Malone as well. He's better than Jeff Malone.
You're clearly trolling Moses.
Moses is not better at basketball than Steve Nash. I'm sorry. If you want to go the accolades route, that's fine. Go the accolades and say please. Cool.
I think you're trying to troll it a little bit.
I'm not trolling. I'm giving my honest assessment of Moses Malone.
I gotta get some guys up.
All right, Dub. I'm gonna get you. Yeah, I'm gonna get you right, man. We gonna
I
talk
gave
about
my honest assessment of Moses Malone.
Niggas had me talking about Malone.
If anyone wants to watch Moses Malone,
be safe, KP.
I think you'll see everything I said about Moses was true. I think everything you'll.
Nope,
if you go watch Moses Malone, everything I said about him is true. If you disagree with my assessment of the players I think are better than him, that's fine. But I didn't lie about how he played. I just don't think. And when we talk about multiple MVPs, we got Steph Curry, Tim Duncan, Steve Nash, Jokic, Giannis, LeBron, MJ, the other guy who shouldn't be named, Wilt, Bill Russell, Larry Bird, Magic. He's in a realm with a lot of all-time greats. Him being the worst of all of them isn't saying he's trash. He's just worse than everyone who won multiple MVPs. That's all it is.
Nah, you spitting.
You ain't name them all.
I can't remember everyone who
name
won.
all the MVPs.
If you can tell me everyone who won multiple MVPs, and I find one who's worse than Moses Malone, let me most MVPs. I'm gonna do it. I've said most MVPs in NBA history. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go through everyone with the most MVPs.
Not that difficult. I can name them. It's Bob Pettit.
Oh yeah, I got Mars in his bag now.
Oh no, those early guys don't count.
Nash, Karl Malone, Jokic, Tim Duncan.
Oh yeah, we
Steph Curry.
It's real heat right now. Okay, Mars. Jalen Green. He's on his Jalen Green.
Giannis,
let's go.
Magic, Larry Bird, LeBron, Wilt, Bill Russell, Michael, and Kareem.
He's not better than any of them.
Moses is the worst.
I promise. Unless if you want to go Bob Pettit, that's fine. I'm not doing these pre-shot. I'm not doing these pre-shot clock guys. But you can do that if you want and say Moses Malone is better than Bob Pettit. That's cool. But he's not better than he who shall not be named. He's not better than Steve Nash. He might have had a better career than Steve Nash, but he's not better than him. He's not better than Tim Duncan. He's not better than Steph. He's not better than Giannis. He's not better than Jokic. He's not better than Magic, Bird, Wilt, LeBron, Bill Russell, MJ, or Kareem. He's not better than any of them. But somehow he has 3 MVPs. I don't know how he got them. Credit to him. But
his MVPs are like some of the most like sus MVPs I've ever seen in my life. Mad sus.
I just think people need to watch.
I think
Moses Malone benefits because no one actually goes to watch the early 80s Houston Rockets or him in Philly. No one bothers to watch him. So you read his achievements and you see there was 1 year he averaged like 30 and 15, and a lot of years he was 25 and 15. So you see those numbers.
Kevin Love numbers.
He gets similar treatment to Wilt Chamberlain. People who won't go back and watch him, you see the numbers, you see the accolades. This guy's crazy. If you go watch him, it doesn't stack up. In my opinion, it doesn't stack up. That's all I'm trying to say.
I agree. I think he is overrated. I think where you do have him, I think it's pretty accurate. I think it makes sense. I think the gameplay, what you described, it matches up to the accolades. I think he was a great offensive rebounder. I think he was just a bigger version of Charles Barkley. I think if you do watch him in Houston, he was very mobile and he was actually a good defender. That's the only thing I would say. He was a good defender because there was points where he was guarding Kareem, and Kareem was having a hard time because he was getting off the ground. And there was only a couple of moves where Kareem had to go to, and they switched him onto the white guy, and he would hit him with the sky hooks on the white guy. But as far as one-on-ones, there was a lot of. It is on 81. This is game 1, game 3. There was a lot of times where he was contesting a lot of Kareem moves. And there was a lot of times where he was snagging boards over Kareem. That counts for something, you know what I mean? To get more possessions for your team, you know what I mean? To kick it back out for the shooters and stuff like that. But I agree with you. Like where you have him ranked, I agree with you. There's no debate with that. But I think he could turn over his left shoulder. I think on left block he was a demon on there. I think it was a lot of Charles Barkley moves, a lot of punishing bully ball. But for that era, it worked. You get what I'm saying? So same thing. Like you have to error tax everything with every player that we kind of look at. We got to error tax and look at the way the play style and how the era dictates that play style, and if they took advantage of it, like Jokic does. And we'll get to that.
I agree. He was 100% more mobile in Houston than Philly. 100%. I'm not going to argue with that. I think I think one thing that like you addressed everything. I think he did develop that post game, especially from like 80, 81 onwards. I think it got sharper and sharper. The outside shot to like 12, 15. It was solid. The offensive rebounding, no question. You can't question that. Some of it was off his own misses, but that's what happens. Your second opportunities. I'm not gonna fully discredit it. Tiny bit of stat padding, but it's cool. I do think my hesitancy with Moses Malone is that I don't know how
Joker.
Yes, Jokic does the exact same thing. I swear he'd be missing on purpose to the offensive rebounds. I swear he'd be doing the same thing. But I think
You really think so?
Yeah, there's some games where he's like 5 for 5. Yes. I'm like, he's 5 for 5. He's got 7 rebounds. All of a sudden, he misses 2 layups. 2 rebounds. Okay. I'm like, okay, I see what's going on.
6 for 9 somehow.
Yeah, I'm like, I see what's going on. But I think Moses Malone, my hesitancy with him is when I rank him, I'm like, how much does great offensive rebounding outweigh terrible passing? How much does great finishing around, not great finishing around, but how much does that rebounding value outweigh to me what was overall? I'd say he was a slightly above average defender for his prime. He wasn't great. He wasn't good. I think he was overall slightly above average in Houston. I think you could say he was good. In Philly, I think kind of tapered off a little bit. I don't know how much I can value the rebounding and the off-ball game he had over the clear flaws he has as an offensive centerpiece. And if you look at those 83 Philadelphia 76ers teams, that was an all-time great team. Moses was a great player on that team. They swept the Lakers. Yes. The Lakers also led going into a halftime of every single one of those games. The fact that they didn't win a game baffles me. In game 4, they were up by 2 with like a minute left, and they still managed to lose. Kareem missed the free throw, then got a turnover in the last minute of the game. These things don't get spoken about, by the way. But
who got Finals MVP?
Moses Malone was Finals MVP.
Yeah.
Also, to close that game 4, Dr. J went crazy in the fourth quarter. He was playing defense. He was making clutch shots. But credit to Moses Malone for that championship. Credit for him to get into the finals in 81. A great player. I just think he has so many flaws in his game that doesn't get spoken about. Like for me, his defense not being great, his playmaking and passing being terrible, not providing much value as an isolation scorer. It was good, but it wasn't great. And I think his scoring numbers.
But how is he overrated? Where is he rated?
People in the chat are telling me. I've heard people in the chat say he's top 15. I've heard people say he's top 20. To me, I can't agree with anyone who has him top 15.
So
That's
boom,
ridiculous to me. Top 15 makes no sense. I'm sorry, top 15 is ridiculous.
The five
top
centers
20, I can
named,
understand if you have him like 19 or 20. Maybe you're just
the
a bit
five
more
centers you
optimistic.
named pretty much universal, right?
Yeah, the 5 centers should be. There's no argument.
Universal.
He's not
right?
a top 5 center. Yes.
But what we saying about Moses is in that time he played center. See, now the game more versatile. They'll let you freelance and do all that other. Back then, center was his position and he played it well. You know what I'm saying?
He was the second best center of the 80s. Well, you could argue first because Kareem kind of fell off, but I'd say
was
he
he
more
effective in his role as a center by being a part of a championship team more than you think a Steve Nash would? Because he had a great team. He had a good team too.
No.
They was fully loaded.
No.
Yes,
I don't think
in the playoffs, they got hurt a lot.
I don't think Moses was more.
He wasn't hurt a lot. They had.
I don't think Moses was more impactful or pivotal to his team success as Steve Nash.
Nope, Moses was not. And what's crazy about the Moses is that this is another great example of just the inconsistencies that people hold. If any all-time great player joined a team that just was one year removed from the finals, that Philly team literally was just in the finals.
But and all they gave up was Caldwell Jones for him.
And all they Caldwell Jones.
He had a good team too.
Who?
But Steve Nash.
Steve Nash's team outside of Steve Nash was nowhere near good as that Philadelphia 76ers
I'm
team.
saying though, but then I'll come through as the 3-time MVP. I'm the best player on the team. So I joined the all-time great team, and I'm considered the best player on the team, and that doesn't make me greater. It makes you great.
Yeah, I said if you want to go that route with your ranking his career compared to Steve Nash, cool.
We got to
talk about them as players.
Career.
We're talking about them as players, not careers. We're not doing that. We're talking about them as players. That's
Mars. I don't
players choice, not careers choice. I'm sorry. It's players choice. It's players choice. It's not careers choice. We're talking about them as players. We're talking about them as players.
I don't mind doing a whole career argument. That's fine. It's just that I don't know, like even the MVPs, like he has some of the most like
and Steve Nash too.
No, but I think his is worse. He won an MVP one year on a team that won 42 games. They were one game above 500.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's ridiculous.
That's the stuff that happened with Kareem, though. We could say that about Kareem.
And I think
we do say that about Kareem.
And we say that about Kareem.
We do.
Now another year he won the award.
I'm gonna have my camera on my bed with no sauna on it.
Another year he won the award on a
Joker won the award in the 5th spot. I think that was egregious. Wasn't it the 5th?
People question that MVP.
That was egregious.
And people question that MVP too, rightfully so.
And so then another MVP that he won another MVP, and he wasn't top 3 record in his conference. He wasn't a top 5 record in the entire league, and that's Moses Malone. And in the final MVP he won it when he joined the team that was just 1 year removed from winning that was in the finals. So those are his 3 MVPs, and that's fair. But no other player gets that. Nobody would have never given Kevin Durant the MVP after joining the Warriors. Nobody would have did that. But for whatever reason,
when Kevin Durant joined the Warriors, they started saying he was the best player on the team.
But was he going to win the MVP?
The best player in the NBA. They were trying to argue he was the best player in the NBA.
So you're not going to answer my question. Were they going to give him the MVP that year?
They wouldn't give it. They weren't going to give it.
Okay,
they could have. No. He could have got the MVP.
They could have, but they didn't. And so
why would he? Why would he?
I agree. Why would he? And why would Moses Malone get the MVP in '83?
When Moses Malone won the one MVP, was the player still voting for it? When he won the 42?
One of the years, the players are still voting for it. The other 2, I believe, media is voting it, and it's still just inconsistent across the board.
What's the numbers? Because I don't got the numbers right in front of me.
80, 83, 81, and 79, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, just give me the numbers from those.
I think it's 83, 82, 79.
83, 82, 79. So the 79 one is when the players are still voting.
181.
and then the other two is when the media are voting. And then one of the two that the media is voting, he won 42 games, and the other one he joins a team that just made it to the finals.
I'm saying
that type of inconsistency
with a player who was the MVP.
We saying what was his stats? What was his numbers? Where it was so egregious that he won the MVP them years?
No, it's not statistically no, but off of the standard that has been set about winning the MVP. Like Kobe put up great numbers, but he was on a 6-seeded team, so they didn't give it to him based off of winning bias. But all of a sudden, when it came to Moses, the goalposts didn't move.
Well,
that was because the players.
His thing, Lo. You leaving out important context as the player vote shifted from media for player to media in 1980. So obviously, the early votes wasn't really planned out. And second of all, in the modern era, it only happened 3 times. Every other MVP only happened 3 times: Westbrook, Joker, and Moses. So exceptions don't make the rule. Like I understand,
that's
my
point.
I get what you're saying.
Moses
like,
is one of the exceptions, but we never.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You're proving my point that he's one of the.
We talk about Jokic and Russ as an exception all the time. We don't talk about Moses.
We don't talk about that.
That's the only reason why people don't talk about Moses like that, because his game isn't as advertised as the other greats in the 80s like that. Majority of people the casual person of the 80s, they only know like 4 great players, to be honest. And that's because Moses' aesthetically game wasn't as advertised as the other players, that's why people don't know about Moses' game like that.
Okay,
so those are the people we're trying to educate.
Yeah, that's the point we're making. The point we're making is that out of the MVPs, what Moses did, there's several players who also could have won MVP if the standards that was set in place wasn't based off of whatever the players felt like, or if there wasn't.
Well, that was only 1 year though, Lo.
It's not. But it's what if you let me finish, you'll realize also the other 2 are also inconsistent. You win it. You're getting an MVP on a team that's not a top 5 record in the NBA. You're getting an MVP while you just joined a roster that went to the NBA Finals. That doesn't happen with any other player in NBA history.
I'm not gonna lie, Lo. In the 70s, especially with player votes, it was all over the place. Like people think like the media was inconsistent with their
MVP got votes. One of them MVPs.
The players was inconsistent as well.
That's fine. But what was much more consistent was at bare minimum being a top 3 seed in your conference, and the only two players that wasn't applicable to was 1 year of Kareem and also Moses.
There was other guys earlier, but
no. I'm looking at it right now. I fact checked it. I'm talking from some actual knowledge here. There's only Bob Cousy. Bob Cousy was top 3 in his conference. So was Bob McAdoo. The only players. Say it again.
With 30 wins.
Oh yeah, back then there's only like 8 teams. So
still 30 wins.
There's only 4 teams in each conference. But I think even back then, 30 wins still would have been above
the top 3 in a conference of 4 teams. I mean,
Bob
I'm saying, Lo, like, come on.
Basically came 12.
When did Bob Cousy?
I don't know about these 50.
No, his MVP, he was a loser.
That's the last spot down there.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about those.
No. The point is, Lo, what I'm saying is, even the players, Lo.
You're wrong. Bob Cousy that year he won MVP. They had the number 1 record in the entire league, because really it should have been Bill Russell. So no, you're wrong.
Bill Russell.
The player in 57 when Bob Cousy won the MVP, they were 44-28. At that time, there wasn't 82 games, so 44 wins sounds off, but no, that was the number 1 record in the NBA. There are only 5 players who won the award. 6 players who won the award that did not have a top 3 seed in their conference.
What about the other 2 MVPs?
That's Bob Pettit in 56, Kareem in 76, Moses Malone twice in 79 and 82, and then Russell Westbrook and Jokic.
Yep. Those are exceptions, though. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah, Moses was an exception
twice. That's the point we're making, is that his MVP, even his MVP.
Yeah, that's the point of
the argument for MVPs. Right. Yeah, it's like these are kind of questionable MVPs because for whatever reason they made the exception for Moses.
They didn't call Moses the best player in the league before.
I'll be honest with you, Lo, with the
they ain't never did that with Steve Nash ever.
But that's not what the MVP is.
Yeah, that criteria with the players are voting, it was wild. Like,
it's only 1 year where it's players.
But if
voting.
the players playing against the opponent, they know what they're talking about, don't they?
But even and that's fair. And yes, the players voting was a tad bit inconsistent, but it was still consistent enough
All
to
voting
give.
Gonna be inconsistent.
But it was still consistent enough to give the MVP to the player who was on the top 3 seed in their conference 99% of the time.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit inconsistent.
Can you answer my question?
No, it's just an exception. That's all it is.
Was Moses Malone considered the best player in the NBA before in the 80s?
In the 80s, probably like maybe 80 and 81, maybe.
Was Steve Nash ever considered the best player in the NBA?
In my opinion, no.
Okay, that's all. I'm not disagreeing with a lot of stuff, but we just not gonna do certain players and say that they better because we got to play by positions.
But if that's it's relative though. If Moses Malone played in a league with Kevin Garnett, Tim Duncan, and Kobe in their relative primes, he probably would not be considered the best player.
But you don't know that though, because you don't know how he would, how his.
No, well, I'm saying it's easier to be considered the best. It's easier to be considered the best player in the league when you caught the perfect window when Kareem is declining and before Magic and Bird start to ascend. So
Kareem was
still in his prime when Moses was still kicking ass.
Yeah, what?
And like in 81.
In 81, 82 without a doubt, not the same
was for sure.
In 81 and 82 was not the same Kareem as he was in like all throughout the 70s.
He was still in his prime, Lo. I get it.
I never said he wasn't in his prime. Y'all not listening.
What was the number?
But when he got to 82, Kareem was already 24 and 9. He wasn't even a double player anymore.
81,
he was 26 and 10, and then the next year he was. I'm not saying it's not nice. What the hell? I'm not saying it's not nice.
They was loaded by then.
But it's not. But it wasn't the 30 and 14 he was averaging in the 70s.
Yes, they didn't need it. We didn't need to average 30 and 14 no more. The Lakers are loaded now.
Y'all not listening to me. Whatever. It's fine.
All right.
No, we
don't agree with you.
I know what you meant. You meant peak, but you said prime twice. That's why I said.
I did. I said he was. I didn't say anything about prime. I just said he was declining. That's all I said. He was declining.
Yeah, I never said the declining. He never said prime.
I never said prime. So again, y'all not listening. So we can move on. Y'all not listening.
I listened. I heard you. I'm saying.
I'm here for this stat. I'm here for this Nash smoke. Like I don't. There's no way Steve Nash is over Moses. Even if you have, I don't quantify accolades as much in my criteria. But even beyond that, he still got better longevity. You can argue during his prime, he actually had better playoff translation. So I get you with the impact, but even Low, you did multiple videos on this, and if you do your research, Steve Nash benefited more so the circumstances of the rule changes than anything.
Oh, I agree. So, I think Moses is over Nash.
So
I said you can have Moses over Nash all time. I just said Nash was a better player. That's why I said.
I don't think he's better.
Then that's fine. The longevity isn't the reason. Like
I said other things too.
Like, that's fine. I think Nash peaked higher than Moses. That's my opinion.
Peak for peak is even.
It's
tricky with Nash. It's tricky with Nash. I'm not gonna
That's fine. That's fine. If you think it's Moses, that's fine. Even then, at best, Moses Malone is the second worst player with multiple MVPs. My point still stands. I'm sorry, it still stands. He's not a top 15 player of all time. He's not a top 20 player of all time to me. But I understand if you have him at the back end of the top 20.
So what's
top
this about?
Sounds more right.
That we said he was better than Chris Paul?
Low, well, you got him all-time rank.
Ask Dub what the title was about.
I got him between 25.
You said what?
I got him between top 25 and no lower than like top 30. Moses or Nash.
Mars, do you have D-Wade peak-wise better than Moses Malone?
Yes.
Me too.
Nah.
Cool. I got some. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I got a few super chats. This man, Aramis Jones, sent 150 to say one word. Mars, say something that's crazy.
I was on silent protest.
Bucks won like 10 games without Giannis. Okay. Angie Card, Dub, a stats guy too. Just don't want to admit it. # basketball vet. I am a stats guy. Drink more water.
That's if.
If you want to say he's regressed as a jump shooter, that's fine. To say he's regressed as a whole is ignorant. What about other aspects of his game, like rebounding, passing, playmaking, defense? I'm going to say this one more time. If he's damn near the same rebounder, he's damn near the same passer, his playmaking is the same, his defense is the fucking same. He's actually averaging the most turnovers in his whole entire career, but nobody talks about that. And his shooting has regressed. Therefore, he has regressed. He's just regressed.
I don't think his defense is good as it was either. To me,
I don't know about that. It's kind of like nitpicking there, but all I'm gonna say is
it's not really. But
I mean, Brook Lopez coming back is probably
it's Brook. That's Brook Lopez's defense. For a good portion
his defense.
Brook Lopez saving the day on that.
Giannis is still, in my opinion, the top 2 player. If you want to say he's the best player, I disagree, but I wouldn't even be mad at somebody saying he's the best player. We can say that somebody's still the best, but still has regressed.
I think he is a best player. My only problem with you is how can you say the Bucks as a team didn't get better?
Because oh my god!
No, hold on. I understand. No, because the team is more than just 2 best players, my nigga.
Oh my god, bro!
Like when people
in the postseason, what you rely on in the postseason is what?
And to that depth, that was a weak depth. That was a weak. Yes, teams in the playoffs do go 8 to 9 man rotations, but when you have a lot of depth,
did you think that Miami were contenders last year, even though that Jimmy Butler and Bam was in and out of the lineup and we were still winning games?
Yes.
Okay, but did you think that they were a better team?
A better team than who?
In 2020.
Last year.
In 2020.
When the bubble.
In the bubble.
No, then who?
Then themselves.
The 2020 version of the Heat.
Yeah.
Do you think the 2020 version of the Heat was the last season's Heat was better than the 2020 version
of the
Heat?
Yeah, I think the bubble version was better.
I disagree, and I just disagree. I just disagree.
I disagree.
But to your point, though, like the reason why the Bucks got better is, and come on, let me get that depth out the way. Yes, teams typically run 7 to 8 man rotations, but when you have a lot of depth, you get more flexibility.
Thank you. I wanted someone to say this.
You get way more flexibility. You've seen it with look at the last 3 teams that won.
You get to pick out the best.
That won, Dub. The Warriors. They was able to sustain winning and impact even when Steph Curry's coming back from injury. He literally came off the bench the first game in the playoffs. That's because of guys now, and I mentioned the amount of defenders that was coming off the bench for those guys too during the playoff run. Let's bring it to the Lakers. Lakers had enough depth to be able to go flexible enough to not play their bigs in the Houston series and still play their bigs in the Nuggets series. So like and the same thing for the Bucks too. Like they had enough personnel, especially in their 4 spot, to get them over the hump in the finals, with their best player being missing 2 games and being minute-restricted in the first 2 games in the finals.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this.
We have adequate enough depth. You have more flexibility.
Let me ask you this.
Most
right?
importantly,
depth can be something that's overrated, right? Especially because this is something that can be sustainable in the regular season, right? But do you think that any one of these guys, because of their depth, that any one of these guys could replace the impact that Chris Middleton had in 2021?
And to that point, no. But however,
okay, stop. No, stop right there. No. Stop. So if there's, even though they have depth, if they cannot replace the impact of a guy like that as the number 2, their chances in the postseason is worse. Therefore, the team is worse because having a number 2 guy is crucial.
So his thing, the reason why I replied that because
when you saying that, hold on.
Yeah, I'm feeling sturdy.
Let me ask one question.
Thank you.
Hold on, Dub. One question. Oh, he probably getting his Uber Eats and shit.
No, I'm listening.
Yo, Dub, one question. Are you asking one person to replace Chris Middleton, or are you asking the depth collectively? Can they do the same impact that Chris Middleton can? I think
that's what I was going to help. I was going to answer that. I was going to answer your question and respond. It was the same.
I think they all can hit.
Listen,
so like if you look at the Bucks last 3 postseasons, their 3-point shooting, especially as a team, regressed. But they're not a bad 3-point shooting team. So, in my opinion, Chris Middleton don't have to be 100% for them to win. I think he have good moments, and I think if I think if players like Brook Lopez, like Bobby Portis, continue their production in the playoffs, and most importantly, the Bucks shoot better than goddamn 31 to 32% from three, they have a great chance of winning. So that's a team aspect, Dub. So when you have
when we see this in the postseason, bro, when we see this in the postseason, we shall see. At the end of the day, I disagree. I think you guys are overrating this translation that they'll have in the postseason. When things get tighter, the defense is going to play at a higher level.
Yes,
it's going to be way more physical, and guys like Drew Holiday and Brook Lopez aren't going to be going off the same way they was doing in the regular season. But you guys don't want to talk about that.
No, we can talk about playoff translation. Exactly to your point, Dub. We talk about translation.
Ticket wants the link.
So
Ticket wants
the last four postseasons.
You know he wanted to be
to all the points you said, Dub. To all the last four postseasons, the Bucks has been elite in terms of defensively. They've been fantastic. We're one of the best physical teams in the postseason, and most an underrated aspect. They've always been an elite rebounding team as well.
Okay,
so
wait. Let me ask you this real. No, wait. Haven't the Bucks in the postseason shooting have dropped every year in the postseason, like since 2021? Didn't their percentage
said
drop?
that. Yeah, I said that.
Oh, wait. So if a team, because they've been the same, right, with the defense and the rebounding. So if the team is showing you for the last 3 seasons that the regular season is great, but then they drop off in the postseason, why the fuck am I going to sit here and expect that these guys aren't going to drop off again?
You could. But my retort to you, my retort to you, Dub, is typically, like I said before, they're not a bad three-point shooting team. You go throughout especially in the last 15 years. Hold on, let me finish. I'm responding to you. If you go back the last 15 years in the NBA postseason, especially, right? Compared to teams that shot bad in the postseason, 9 times out of 10 there were bad three-point shooting teams on the regular season. I'm telling you. Just by law of averages, the Bucks are bound to have at least one postseason run. They're gonna shoot average because they're not like I keep telling you. Hold on, even with Giannis' regression, he's still gonna provide that rim pressure. No matter what, those shoots will get more overlooks.
I'm not different. I don't know about that. I'm not different.
And that's not taking into account some of their acquisitions like Joe Ingles, who is a great secondary.
So 30, who coming out? Who coming out the East 30?
Right.
I'll tell you when the playoffs start.
Yeah, look at that.
Everyone knows it's Philly.
Everybody knows.
Everyone knows it's Philly. Everyone knows it's Philly.
My whole point is, I didn't even say. Maybe
if Philly gets home court advantage above Boston second round, they could beat Boston.
Listen, bro. Maybe if I said it, maybe if I said this, I'll take it back. I'll retract it. Well, I'm not saying the Bucks don't have a chance. All I'm saying is to call them the favorites is ridiculous.
I don't have them favorites.
I don't either.
Why are we having this conversation then?
No, I literally said specifically, there's no way you can say this team did not get better as a collective. That made no sense.
They're worse.
Wait,
regular season.
I don't think they got better. I don't think they got better. I don't think they got better. I think they're in the same ballpark. Yeah, I don't think they're worse.
Doug said the last 2 days that this team got regressed.
They're better than last year.
The team regressed because of Chris Middleton and Giannis not being themselves. That's why. That's why.
Yo, let me just get this one thing off. I just want to get this. It's a little pitch. It's just a little pitch idea.
I got to send Ticket the link after this. I got your Ticket.
Yeah.
I got your Ticket. Don't worry. I got you.
Eat up this whole thing. Look. I think because I think a lot of you guys, especially Dub, Mars, and Low, especially y'all, I think y'all always go to the tape, and I think y'all should have a thing where it's called like the film war room. You know what I'm saying? Where like we could just break down the tape, because I think a lot of times when we have these panel debates, we don't bring up the tape in real time. I think we need to bring up the tape in real time so we could really evaluate this player, because you got people saying that, especially talking about Jokic. I mean, let me just start this off with the Jokic. I'll use the example of Jokic.
The garbage
I think Jokic gets a lot of his bin buckets. We'll use bin buckets for you, man. We'll use bin buckets.
Bin buckets.
But a lot of people. Yeah, been a lot of Moses Malone buckets. A lot of those. Give me those put back. You know what I'm saying? But I think we could have you know what I mean? I think that'll be a dope thing where we could go to the tape, you know what I mean? And we just evaluate. I think
I've thought about doing it on my channel.
On what we have, because
I think it has to be done on. I think it has to be done on Twitch.
It can't be on YouTube. It'll probably.
I will do it. I don't care.
That's
Big Low.
Low don't need to worry about the finances.
Low don't.
No, this is why I say that. I'm gonna say this why. And I think you guys 3 should do it. and or we can have it's like a concept where you have one of the old heads and one of the original PC. You know what I mean? Like one-on-ones where
just not fluent, and then we'll be good.
Oh my god! Just because he swept you.
This is why I say that, because I think the criteria shifts too much, and I think the film room can set a standard in all basketball talks. I think the standard needs to be set for everything. I think that's the reason why Carmelo's not in the NBA, because narrative has dictated his career out of the NBA, where he should, if you look at the tape, he's better than Grant Williams. We saw Grant Williams flop a game. After
who's better than Grant Williams?
He said Carmelo Anthony's better than Grant Williams. I don't know about
that.
Oh, current Carmelo, because I heard Carmelo. I thought it was going. Okay.
You talking about current or all? What are you saying?
It was current. It's current, right? Because I heard Carmelo and I went to Prime Melo. I was like, "Where's this conversation?"
He's talking about current. He's talking about current.
No. Current Melo
right now.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. But
how is it?
Yo, ticket. If you still there, comment something real quick. I'm about to let you up real quick.
Because I think I think when it comes to a lot of these players, when we comparing them, it's really heavily based off of what teams like need from a certain player, and so what like Grant Williams
plug in
is more
Melo
so needed
right into Grant Williams.
So Moses Malone.
Oh, they'll be worse. The Celtics will be
defensively. Defensively, I think that. How so?
Because of defensively, like you about to say, yeah.
So defensively, I mean, of course they would have to, I think they would hide Melo. It would take a lot more to hide Melo, but I think offensively you would get way more shot creation compared to Grant Williams.
That's not where they're struggling. But that's not where they're struggling in though, because the shot creation. I mean, you can argue the ups and downs of Jaylen Brown from time to time, but for the most part, their shot creation is actually fine. They get quality looks, routine.
They don't need Melo.
They don't like that team in particular. I don't really think needs Melo. They have enough scoring from the wing perspective. They need as much fluid, versatile defenders, especially when they go a little bit smaller.
What about Memphis?
They don't have a side. I'm fine with Memphis. There's a couple teams I'm fine with. I think Melo should be in the league, but I don't know if Melo would be on one of the teams that makes sense for him, because I don't know if he would, be a non.
What about Cleveland?
I don't think anyone's saying there's 450 basketball players on earth better than Carmelo.
You just hate Melo.
I don't think that's what anyone's arguing.
Because why did they move off of Kevin Love though?
Melo was my favorite player at one time.
Do you think?
I thought Kevin Love didn't want to play there.
Dean Wade is better than Melo? Do you think that Dean Wade is better than Melo? Right
now,
I don't. I think. Well, Dean Wade doesn't even. So what is he doing? He's starting because Dean Wade.
He plays 20 minutes. He plays 20 minutes.
And I thought he said D Wade.
That's the point. Melo come off the bench. I would have Melo come off the bench.
If Dean Wade could come off the bench, Melo can.
Dean.
No. That's fine. But the problem is with a lot of these things is that I just think that Melo is a much worse
Anderson.
No, he should have had JTA. Should not have had.
I tried to tell people I just thought JTA.
Yeah, no, that JTA. But JTA having a job was just insanity to me.
No, like Carmelo is better than people on like the Detroit Pistons, but they don't need him. So the only teams that it's not that they don't need him. The only teams Carmelo would want to go to are teams that are contending, and then you're in a situation where do contending teams think Carmelo is worth whatever baggage they think Carmelo brings plus his defensive liabilities? Do they think what Carmelo brings is worth? Do they get a good return of investment, basically? And then you got to start looking at Milwaukee, Boston, Philly, Cleveland, Denver, the Lakers, Memphis, Phoenix, etc. Do they think Carmelo is worth it? Because they're the only teams that Carmelo would look to go to. He's not going to go to Sacramento. He's not going to go back to the Knicks. He's not going to go to Brooklyn. He's not going to go to any of those teams. And then you got to look at what they have in those positions already. Milwaukee have Chris Middleton, Joe Ingles, etc. Do they need Carmelo? Whatever. Do Boston need Carmelo? That's up to whatever you decide. Do Philly need him? Once again, it's up to you. But you're only looking at maybe 9 teams for Carmelo, and then you've got maybe 7
Philly
of those teams
already
have their wing spot secured. So then you're looking at 2 teams. And do those 2 teams really want to invest in Melo? Like
I wouldn't mind
Philly.
Smaller and smaller. I wouldn't mind Philly, but they already got what's my man name?
Don't say it. Don't fucking say it. I know.
No. Jesus, no. What's the shooter Mars that can't play defense?
Don't say it.
George Niang.
Oh,
Yeah,
George
they already
Niang.
ha- they,
George.
they already have
So you're keeping-
and then after
Damn.
Niang, they also have
That's
they got Montrezl Harrell as well. They already have too many like defensive liabilities coming off the bench, so they can't run lineups with that many defensive liabilities.
Mm-hmm. You got to have defense already to add Melo. I think
that's why he needs to be in
That's it.
Cleveland.
It's not.
If
No,
you're the
no.
Lakers-
Cleveland just picked up Danny Green not
If
too
you're the
long ago, right?
Lakers, are you asking for Melo?
I don't think Cleveland.
No,
the
you're not
Lakers.
asking for Melo for the Lakers. No,
Cavs don't
no
need
way.
3D, bro. They got Evan Mobley and Jared Allen now.
But
And
Doug,
so
you
and
don't-
that and I think
Doug, you
that's
don't get rid
completely.
of
What
Kevin
about
Love
that
to pick up
perimeter
Melo.
though?
That's at best the same move. You don't get rid of Kevin Love to pick up Melo. You know what I'm saying? Like, what does that? What does that?
I'm
do?
just saying that he could just be on the team. I don't care.
Oh.
I don't care if they got rid of Melo. I'm just saying he could be
Melo gonna play though. Kevin Love, you never know when he playing or not.
Melo's a better shot creator than Kevin Love. That's the point. He could hit you with mid range. He's better shot creator.
But the Cleveland needs shot creation when they have.
We don't
Exactly.
need him to shot
That's what I'm
create.
saying. They don't need.
They don't even need to
though.
create. He could be a spot up guy.
That's what I'm saying. And that's fine. But there's other spot up players that can. They
have Danny Green. That's what they got Danny Green for.
The problem is that especially
doing?
when it comes to a lot of those supporting cast members is that you don't want to. They have to be almost as well rounded as possible, or they have to be so elite at something that they're willing to give up on other aspects. And the reason why is because you're trying to complement the stars that are around them, or just the starting caliber players. The problem with Melo is that for what he provides as a scorer, like a 3-point shooter, it's not enough to take away from the defense that he's going to like provide the problems for. So you would take. Most teams are going to take a slightly worse 3-point shooter if they can get a noticeably better defender or at least athlete than Melo, because you can have a much more well-rounded situation. A great example.
And I could get a younger player with more energy.
That too.
To do the same thing.
Man, Cleveland
teams don't want to work around non-core pieces. That's it.
That's fine. That's fine. But Cleveland is one of the. He's the below average in 3-point shooting. They still have the top defenses in the league. Melo corrects a big flaw in their 3-point shooting, bro.
I think
Miami could use him too. I'm not even gonna hold you. I think Miami could.
Only reason I said Memphis.
What's up with Memphis?
I said only reason I said Memphis is because
I just think. You get what I'm saying?
I think they just need a veteran over there in Memphis. Somebody need it.
Did you see what Dylan Brooks played? You heard what Dylan Brooks said?
That was crazy.
But Melo is a player like you could be cool with. Like they could relate to Melo. He's smooth. You know what I'm saying? He more the young crowd know him. You know what I'm saying?
But what, to real quick to Dub's point about like Miami.
That's not a bad pickup. I wouldn't mind just for.
But Miami's a great example of like why they've been playing like players like Max Strus and Caleb Martin and trying to plug in Victor Oladipo as much as possible. Because even though, yes, like they don't provide enough like shot creation or 3-point shooting, they also don't give up on all those other aspects of basketball to where like it just doesn't justify. And it's the reason why even when Duncan Robinson was shooting better, it's the reason why in like playoff settings he was extremely limited because he just gave up way too much defensively, as well as not being a quality playmaker. He wasn't that much of an athlete. There were so many things that you're giving up just for somebody to be out there and be a 3-point shooter. And that's just it. You would much rather, instead of having somebody shoot 40% from 3 and being like mediocre to bad in other aspects, I'd rather have someone who's like 37% from 3 and who's much better everywhere else to complement what I may need on the rest of the floor.
I just think you're over exaggerating the defense liability of Melo.
Oh no! Oh my God! Oh my
God! No! Wait! Come on! Let me rephrase it.
Did you see him on the Lakers?
Let me rephrase it. I think you're overrating how much that could impact the team's defense. My bad. I think you're overrating how much that could hinder.
That's still crazy, though.
No. I think you're overrating. I don't see these teams and their defense falling off.
I don't disagree with Miami.
You can hide them, bro. You could shift them around. You can move them around. Like you could do.
Duncan Robinson,
yeah,
not
you
a
can
better
hide Melo in Cleveland. That's what I don't understand.
But that's the thing. Teams ideally don't want to hide role players.
Sorry, my man about to say?
Yeah, sorry.
There's nobody. Yeah, I gotta get some guys up here.
Oh, wait, let me hear what he about to say because he kind of lagging.
Oh, go ahead, bro. Say it.
Oh, my fault. Let me just get this off. Well, that's what I was saying. That's the point about the war film room thing that I was talking about. I think you can schematically think, all right, if you put Melo in the corner and have Mobley be the roaming defender along with Allen being the backline, that's a way you could schematically help, you know what I mean? Hide Melo and shade him versus him getting all these pick and rolls and stuff like. You can hide Melo the same way they was hiding Steph. You can hide Melo. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's gonna be
I
that
just
hard.
think Cleveland got too many wings. Like
but
they
when
got
you-
players out there.
Yeah, but when you're hiding someone like Steph, you're hiding like one player defensively for the most part, bro. When it comes to like Melo on these teams that y'all are referring to, like y'all put him on the same floor with D. Mitch and Darius Garland, who also are like sus defensively. Like so, it's even worse. So yeah, Steph is in such a unique situation to where like that can work. But as soon as it's like Steph and Jordan Poole on the same floor, like you can just noticeably see like it gets a little worse. Like it gets the more and
they
more
can't guard nobody.
Yeah, it gets worse. It gets worse, man. I'm sorry, Mars. I had to,
We just talking about shooting.
As a Houston fan now, man. Jabari Smith.
Jabari
Smith had a good game. Jabari Smith had a good game.
Jabari Smith game.
I gotta get some guys up here, but appreciate the time y'all spent.
Trevor Ariza looking good, man.
Yeah, Trevor Ariza was cooking.
Peace.
Trevor Ariza was looking nice, man.
Trevor Ariza was cooking, man. He had himself a ball game, man.
Exactly. So
I was trying to get
it's good, man. And we lost, so the Wembanyama sweepstakes.
Yo, ticket. Try now, brother. Here we go.
Oh man, he was cooking, dog. Oh man, I was throwing away.
I was shocked. He was making shots. I was like, damn, but it's what he does, man. It's what he does.
Let's get ticket up here, bro.
From now on, he's gonna be a 40% 3-point shooter, 20 points a game.
What's my man Wiseman looking like?
Yeah, that's something, bro.
Wiseman.
Hey, Doug. Keep the rest of kick the rest of these bombs off. Leave you, me, Low, and Mars in here. I got an NBA
I ain't no bum. I'll cook you, Ticky. Don't be coming at me like that, bro.
These bombs out of here. I got an NBA player coming up.
I got you, Mac.
Just send in the league. Yeah, get your ass out of here, nigga. He ready to hop in. When you see Claus come up in here, Boss Claus, keep the ex-LA Clippers, bring them up here. Y'all want to talk about some disrespect on some Moses Malone? I'm gonna bring in NBA players who've seen Moses play. So let's go, baby. This part one right here. Yeah, get it tonight.
Did he see Moses play?
Bro, stop playing.
I don't know who he's talking about.
What is his name?
Fire that you came
stop
in
playing,
like
Lo.
What is his name? What's his name? Are you gonna say
WWW?
Ticket. You got his name? What's his name?
Yeah, his name is Keith Claus, nigga. LA Clippers. You forgot Keith Claus? Long hair, afro, dunk on my.
No, I didn't hear what you said.
Okay.
Got Boss Claus in the building. What's good, bro?
Here we go. Now, Claus. These my brothers right here. We chop it up all the time. This is my brother Keith Claus in here, the boss, former LA Clipper. Now, first of all, let's backtrack, man. So these dudes have a lot of disrespect for the legends in the game. One of them being John Stockton. So first thing some of these guys said was John Stockton was overrated, and that he's an overrated point guard, and that maybe he could barely crack the top 10. What's your thoughts on that? Keith, what's your thoughts on that, boss?
Wow, John Stockton's overrated. Damn.
John Stockton.
Far from it, man. John Stockton, he's a hog out there. He was a hog out there. He was scrappy. He had skills. He knew how to run a team with efficiency. And he was fearless, man. He was fearless. There was nothing overrated about him.
Do you think he was the second best passer of all time?
The second best passer of all time? He's up there. I'll give him top 5.
I have him at like 8. So if someone has him as the 8th, if someone has him as the 8th best passer of all time, number 8, do you think that's disrespect?
Tell him who you have over him.
Okay, I have Magic, Steve Nash, Jason Kidd, LeBron James, Nikola Jokic, Larry Bird, and Chris Paul. Is that disrespectful to John Stockton?
Yeah.
Which names? Which names are disrespectful to John Stockton?
I dropped Jokic and Paul and LeBron below Stockton, definitely.
I no, we can understand Jokic, but why LeBron and Chris Paul?
Well, LeBron, because Stockton led the league in assists. You know how many years?
Like
7. I think it was 7.
A lot of times, yes.
7, yeah.
7.
Okay, all right. That means he's one of the best. Best
9.
passers.
It was 9 actually.
9 actually 9.
And how many years did LeBron lead the league in assists?
Once.
Jokic, how many times did he lead the league in assists?
0. He hasn't done that.
How many times has Chris Paul led the league in assists?
I want to say 4.
Either 4 or 5.
Okay.
5. Damn, close enough. So if it's based,
you have a valid argument with Bird, who was a tremendous passer. You have a valid argument with Jason Kidd, Steve Nash. Those guys are all tremendous passers. Magic Johnson, tremendous passers, without a doubt.
But why
how many years did Bird lead the league?
He never came close to leading the league in assists.
He never led the league in assists.
Right. But I think the thing why people have Bird up there so high is because, the flashiness of his passes, of some of his passes that they show in his highlight. That's one of the reasons why they would have him up there that high.
Couldn't you argue the same for guys like LeBron?
So drop Larry also.
Okay,
I put LeBron and Chris Paul above Larry Bird. I put Jokic above Larry Bird as a passer.
I am above Larry, but if it's about leading the league in assists, does that apply to scoring titles as well, or is this just when it comes to assists?
That's just assists because we're talking about passers right now. We're not talking about scorers.
Yeah, so this is if I was asking you about scorers, would you say someone is a better scorer than someone else because they've led the league in scoring more times? That's what I'm getting at.
No. But Stockton is a better, he's a better passer than a lot of guys who play the game.
But do you understand why that is inconsistent? Because if when we're talking about other attributes of basketball, such as scoring, you have the ability to differentiate. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You have the ability to differentiate why somebody would be a better scorer and still not lead the league in scoring. So the argument of being able to be the better passer just because you led the league in passing. I don't know. When I watch Stockton, he's standing at the top of the key, allowing the play to develop and making passes that I think most of the top 5 or 7 players top 5, 7 passers can make. I don't really see the degree of difficulty that would separate him from the players such as Magic, Zeke, Chris Paul, Jokic, Bron, Bird. I don't see it enough to make the argument to why he should be over them.
So you're looking at flash then?
I'm looking at the degree of difficulty, the same way that we would all look at the degree of difficulty of a score. The degree of difficulty. That's what I'm looking at.
He was an effective passer without having to, make risky passes or make tons of risky, flashy passes.
Yep, that is true. But again, when it comes to scoring, do you not look at the degree of difficulty to determine who's a better scorer than someone?
No.
Okay, so
I just look at the scoring. I just look at the scoring ability.
Okay, so who are your top 5 scorers then?
Oh shit! You got Kobe. You got Michael Jordan, and this isn't in any particular order.
Mm-hmm.
Kobe, Michael Jordan. You got Kevin Durant for sure. Let's take it back to the 60s and throw Elgin Baylor in there because he was a hell of a scorer. You can go back to the 70s, 80s, look at George Gervin, who was a hell of a scorer. You can even look at a guy like Rick Barry, who was a hell of a scorer.
Why would George, if you say you're looking at production, why would someone like Barry be in this conversation?
Why? Because Barry was a hell of a scorer. He can put the ball in the hole.
No, I'm not saying he can't. But if you're saying that you're not looking at that and you're looking at just volume and production, why wouldn't Kareem and Karl Malone be Kareem? To me, should have been brought up before. Would have not made no sense.
That's obvious, of course, because of the skyhook. That's obvious. You know what I mean? But we're looking at the less. Could have thrown Kareem in there. Absolutely. The skyhook was unstoppable.
They say Kareem's a fraud. That guy right there above you, the light-skinned cat, who like John B. He says Kareem's a fraud. Explain to him why you think Kareem is a fraud. Don't get scared now. I don't want no shaking, no shivering, none of that. I want to hear this.
No shaking and shivering.
That's crazy.
We can say that Will Chamberlain was a hell of a scorer also.
You know what I mean? I guess the before we get to the Kareem talk, I think the only thing that kind of just push back with the Stockton talk about passers is that I just look at him and I see the passes that he does, and it's like those passes are just not like the degree of difficulty of them to determine like this level of skill it actually took, the level of passing skill it took to make a lot of those passes. I feel like could be done by like everybody in the top 5, 7, 10 of passers. He just did it more often because he didn't have the same offensive responsibility as a lot of other players who in the top 5, 7 as passers like Magic, LeBron, Bird. All of them also had to be volume scorers, so they didn't rack up the amount of assists. They didn't have the privilege to stand at the top of the key and allow the play to manifest itself and just pass to the open player. They actually had to like create and generate for everybody else as well. So that's to me the reason why, even though yes, he led the league in assists, if we're just talking about the actual ability of passing, I just don't think that he's in the conversation with a lot of these other players.
John Stockton was a high IQ player who kept it simple and was very efficient being a simple point, being simple with it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as the game went on, and as different players started coming in the league. Well, back up, let's talk, because Magic, was one of the first flashy passers, at the point guard position. At least he had the most notoriety for it, right? Nobody was as flashy as Magic back when he was playing. And then later on down the line, you get a Jason Kidd, who was a flashy passer. You get a Jason Williams, White Chocolate, who was a flashy passer, who was a great passer, And Stockton kept it simple. He kept it simple. Get the ball on a break, push it. Push it. Hit his wings. Same thing Magic did. And if he didn't have anything, on the break, then run an offense. Run an offense, find somebody. The play sets that they had in Utah, it was easy to it was easy for them to, to get easy assists off of one another.
Okay.
Cool. They had guys who could knock down open jump shots. They had Carmelo, they had Thurl Bailey. Mark Eaton had a nice mid-range game, as done before. Jeff Hornacek, Chris Morris, Brian Russell. Who am I missing?
You missing a couple more.
But
no, you missing a lot. I'll be trying to tell them that those teams were very talented, and people try to down. You missed Jeff Malone, you missed Daryl Griffin. I mean, people like to downplay how talented those teams were, just because they try to put off some propaganda. But no, you're right; those teams are very talented with extremely skilled scorers. And I think that Stockton benefited immensely from that. But that's just me, though.
Yeah, he did though. He did. He did.
Okay.
He made the right passes at the right time. And thank God he had some guys around him who could shoot.
I hear that. I like to hear that. All right.
So to shift over to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the reason why I call him a fraud is because I see a lot of the times that people put Kareem in NBA talks that I don't think he belongs in. MJ and LeBron is one of those guys. I hear a lot of times where they say that Kareem has a conversation to be the GOAT, greatest of all time, over those two guys. And in my opinion, I just think that it's fraudulent because people love to praise Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the championships and the MVPs and don't contextualize any of that. He won 6 championships as he was regressing with Magic Johnson. And when I compare him to Michael Jordan, LeBron James, they didn't have a guy of that caliber to lean on, especially later on in their career. Bring up the longevity of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar too. I think that's something that could be used as a point for him. But then LeBron right now is defined the longevity of everything, and he just passed him career points. So LeBron James, his longevity, his peak, his achievements, he shall automatically be above Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the same points that they use for him. The MVPs, I think, gets a little bit overstated as well because a lot of those MVPs came from player voting, and if LeBron and MJ did have player voting, I think they would have had a lot more MVPs as well. And yeah, I don't think a lot of people talk about how, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar missing sometimes in the postseason in his prime and back-to-back years in two different years on two different teams. People don't talk about that enough. But if MJ or LeBron, if that ever, I mean, LeBron's trying to get crucified right now at the later stage of his career for not making the postseason. But Kareem in his prime, he doesn't get hate for that. So that's the reason why I talk about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar the way I do.
Well, hey, your opinion is your opinion. You know, you bring up the longevity. Remember, Kareem went to college for 4 years,
Mm-hmm.
and then after 4 years, in a 20-year NBA career, led the league. He was all-time leading scorer. That's after 4 years of college.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? After 4 years of college. LeBron, on the other hand, this ain't to credit LeBron, but he came straight out of high school. The times were different where he was allowed to come straight from high school, and he fell into the perfect opportunity, a low-level team that wasn't doing much, and was, he was given the keys. He was given the keys and he did what he was supposed to do. He did what he was supposed to do effectively. And that's another reason why he's the all-time leading scorer now. You know what I mean?
Wouldn't LeBron James playing straight out of high school is more of a testament to his longevity, because Kareem, even though he played in college, wasn't racking up like 82 game seasons, and then like they weren't playing the same amount of games like that.
LeBron hasn't racked up an 82 game season, not one time.
Mm-hmm. He has played for over 70 games. He did it in 2018.
70 games. Was he averaging 70 games?
That's still like double Kareem's college totals games though. If Kareem's playing like 35 in college, LeBron's still at 18, 19 playing more games than Kareem was. So that's more of a testament to longevity when he can play 80 games at 19. Kareem never had to do that. He was playing 35, 40 games.
Well, he didn't have the opportunity to either, but he would have, because, anybody who's versed in, what was going on back then and really, took the time to study the history of basketball and who was doing what in which decades and which eras, it's well documented that Kareem as a high schooler was giving pros the business, that Kareem as a college player was giving pros the business. So would he have been able to do it if the circumstances allowed him to? Yeah, absolutely.
Well, nobody's saying he wouldn't be able to do it. We're just saying the longevity.
And this is a guy that they changed the rules for. They outlawed dunking because of his dominance. You know what I mean? And that's what caused him to lean more on that hook shot of his.
Yeah, but even in a hypothetical where Kareem came straight out of straight out of high school, and he played 4 years, and in those 4 years he came in the NBA and he averaged 30 points per game, and he played all 82 seasons. LeBron would still be on pace to pass him in fewer games, though.
How much did Kareem average his rookie year? Didn't he average around 27 or 30?
He averaged 29, yeah.
Okay. All right. And that was after 4 years of college. So he still would have come in, if he was able to, he still would have came in averaging around 25, 26 points a game.
That would be even worse, though, because LeBron would be able to catch him in even fewer games. LeBron, what I'm saying is, even if LeBron,
maybe not. And again, here's another thing, and people hate when this is brought up. They hate when this is brought up. But defense in the NBA is a long forgotten thing now. It's basically non-existent. Who plays defense? Who plays defense? Who really plays defense in the NBA now?
I can name Marcus Smart.
No, you don't need to just name individual players who play defense. We get the point.
Maybe a handful of players. You know what I mean? Maybe a handful.
But
in the beginning of LeBron's career, they're still playing defense. They're still trying to stop people.
Okay.
But as time went on, that shit just faded.
Yeah, but you could very well argue that even in the beginning part of LeBron's career, when you just admitted, when they were still playing defense, that's when he was recording most of his points. Most of his 30-point seasons came in the early part of his career in a slower pace era as well, where they didn't have as many possessions as Kareem played in. and he was still able to score some of the most points of his career during those stretches of years.
How many 3-pointers did Kareem Abdul-Jabbar take and make throughout his career?
I don't think he made one, or he made one.
He made one.
He made one. That corner shot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So he made one. And how many did LeBron make?
LeBron made I want to get this number right, 2,240.
Okay.
If I turn every LeBron 3-pointer into a 2-pointer, LeBron would still be on pace to pass him in fewer games.
Possibly.
It's not. That is what it is. The 3-point argument. The 3-point argument is the reason why it's irrelevant is because Kareem was so great at 2-pointers that if Kareem started to shoot threes, he would actually record fewer points. If you took away some of Kareem's shots and turned them into 3-pointers, and even if Kareem was, I know, but I'm just saying, even if, so that's what I'm saying. The argument of him shooting threes would actually hurt Kareem. It doesn't help him. And even if you take away LeBron's threes and turn them into 2-pointers, he would still be on pace to pass him in fewer games anyway. So the 3-point argument
with the way that the game has changed and teams relying on high volume 3-point shooting, hey, it's bound to happen. Guys are going to rack up points that way a lot faster. 3 years more than 2.
But what I'm saying is that it's not faster. For Kareem, it would not have been faster if he shot threes. And even if I took away LeBron's threes and turned them into 2-pointers, he would still be averaging. He would still have a higher point per game average than Kareem. He would still be on pace to score more points than Kareem. All of those things would still be more applicable to Kareem.
Possibly. I haven't looked at the stats like that, so I can take your word for it, though. I can take your word for it.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I can take your word for it.
All right.
You said
it was and then fine thing. I think Ticket wanted us to talk about the Moses Malone disrespect. He said that you watch Moses Malone. You watch Moses Malone. Okay.
Yeah. I grew up an NBA fan during the '80s, so yeah.
So where do you have Moses Malone ranked all time? Like, do you have a range of where you have him, not in a specific number?
All time, he would be in the top 50.
Oh, well,
I have him in the top 52. There we go.
Oh, we agree. There we go.
He'd be in the top. Yeah, he'd be in the top 50.
What do you rank him as a big? What do you rank him as a big?
You think he's a top 10 big man?
As a big,
I think he could be top 10. More.
He'd be pretty damn close to top 10, if not top 10.
Okay.
On the lower part.
The lower half of the top 10, right?
Yeah.
There we go. See, there we go.
All right,
there we go. Someone who played basketball agrees. There. Okay.
Thank you, Ticket.
Thank you for confirming our opinions. Thank you.
Who's the best passing big of all time?
The best passing big of all time right now is Nikola Jokic.
So you think he's better than like bigs like Vlade Divac and stuff, even though they're very good passers, but Jokic just surpassed those guys.
Vlade was the first great passing big. Well, actually,
Bill Walton, and Arvydas Sabonis and those guys, but
Sabonis was nasty, But now, Jokic is absolutely, he's on par to be the greatest big man passer in the game.
Thank you. It's nice to hear. It's nice to hear the things I've been saying get confirmed.
Man, this is hey, Ticket. Thank you for bringing them on.
You gotta give Jokic his props. Man.
I agree. I think we shouldn't have to wait if we're seeing something. Hey, look, I don't
discriminate. Me and Big Dog, we disagree on that. I think Giannis is MVP. He think it's Jokic. That's still my homie. You know what I'm saying? But all that other stuff y'all talking about is felonious. Moses Malone's overrated. What is all this stuff, man? Come on, this is a joke.
Moses Malone was far from overrated. Oh man, he was a beast.
I agree. If everyone had him, if everyone had him top 50, like you, I'd agree. He's not overrated. I think that's fantastic for him.
Yeah, let me ask you this: if somebody said Moses,
when I say top 50, is because there's so many other great small forward shooting guards, point guards.
I agree.
You know what I mean? So
I 100% agree. So wait, somebody said that Moses Malone is like a top 15 player, and he's better than like Karl Malone and David Robinson and Dr. J. And he's if somebody said Moses Malone is better than Dr. J, would you agree with them?
would I agree with them? That'd be tough. It'd be tough. It'd be tough to agree with them.
Okay, thank you. Interesting.
We
Thank
agree.
You.
We all agree on these things. These are all things that we agree upon.
Do you think Steph Curry is the greatest shooter of all time?
He's one of them.
Who would you if it's not Steph, who would you say it is?
Man, I wish the volume was, was like it is today, way back then, because Larry's numbers would be higher, Reggie Miller's numbers possibly be higher, Ray Allen's numbers would possibly be higher. A lot of great shooters have come through this game. Oh man, but Steph, as of now, yeah.
I agree again.
Okay,
I
agree.
Again.
Man, I thank you for coming on.
After all I've been told.
Big dog, they saying this because I said that if Ray Allen was shooting on the same scale of threes for his career as Steph Curry is now, that Ray Allen, them records they had, that Curry had just been passing the last couple of years would have been way out there. Them dudes wasn't shooting that many threes like that.
As well. Yeah, that's why I mentioned the other guys as well.
But who's a better?
That's what I was saying.
And that's valid.
They ask me, like, when we talk about the best shooter, I'm not thinking, okay, just a guy who, Curry's percentage is better, but I'm looking at the defense that Ray Allen was playing against. Like you told me the other day, these dudes don't play no D. These dudes ain't playing no. Curry would not be able to just come down and shoot 40-footers in that era that Ray Allen and guys played in. They don't understand that. It would have been defense.
But he's hit some crazy. He's hit some crazy contested shots as well.
Oh, he has hit crazy contested.
No, I'm just saying. I'm saying the percentage he hits though, because guys aren't really able to defend him like they were. It will come down. So all this 43% for the front of three, it would be lower. I wouldn't say we wouldn't be shooting a great percentage, but it wouldn't be at the astronomical numbers that it's at now because the defense will be a lot better.
I disagree.
Yeah, guys would have touched them up. As soon as he got to half court, they probably would have touched him up 3/4 court.
Maybe, but I disagree. Especially with bigs back in the day, not like stepping up, not being accustomed to step up to the 3-point line and kind of contest that far out front of basket. Bigs back then would just be torched like in pick and roll.
I mean, we can ask Keith. Did you play drop coverage the most part in pick and rolls, or was you having to step up at the level of the screen in the time you played? Which was a more common?
It depended on who the screen was for.
Okay.
If it's a guy who's a so mediocre shooter, then it's a gamble. You know what I mean? It's a gamble. But
but if it's against Ray Allen, how y'all playing against Ray Allen?
If it's Ray, I'm hitting him. I'm gonna bump him, slow him down, or I'm gonna try to trap him. And if I have to switch on him, then damn it, I got to switch on him. I'm not afraid to switch on him.
So pretty similar to the coverage that Steph receives now.
I'll use my length. I'll extend my arm. You know what I mean? So that I'll keep it within range to disrupt his shooting if he does want to take a shot. And I used to bait guys into taking jump shots. Because I'd step back and give them just half a little hand. And make them feel comfortable, like they go ahead and get it off, and as soon as they raise up to punching it, we're gone the other way on a fast break.
So pretty similar to how teams try and defend Steph Curry now.
That's what I hear.
Okay, I agree.
That's not true. Hold on, boss. Boss, do you think the defense is even anywhere near now than it was 10, 15 years ago in the league?
That's not what was said.
Hell no.
That's not what was said.
Yeah.
Explain why you say that.
It's that Matador defense today. 10 years ago, guys were still putting forth a little effort to stop the guy in front of them. These days they don't even care to. They don't even care to. They give a half-ass effort. Because it's more of a focus on offensive output than stopping somebody and stopping the person in front of you.
Now I agree with you.
They'll rather get into a shootout than try to shut you down.
Now
they're banking on you. They're banking on you and your team having an off night. Look, for instance, yesterday morning I get here for a veterans tournament. We hop out the car after driving from Istanbul a few hours, and We go straight from the car to the court, put on our uniforms. Whole team, cold as hell. We got smacked by 25. You know what I mean? These are all guys over 45 and over who are playing. You know, we got smacked. Came back the afternoon. Now we're warmed into a rhythm. You know, won our second game. Came back this morning. Got out there. We actually had to face the same team again. Smoked them. You know, they thought that they could outscore us, but the difference is we stepped it up defensively. We stepped it up defensively as well. We forced them into bad shots. You know what I mean?
I want to know. I want to know what was, because you played in the late '90s. So I want to know what was like one of your most memorable moments in playing in that time on the court.
Oh man, D'ing up Michael Jordan. You know, throwing his stuff up out of there, throwing Kobe stuff, trying to stop Shaq on the block, which wasn't happening. Victimized. You know, victimized.
It's crazy.
Falling for the dream shake, get caught up in the dream shake. You know what I mean? Just being able to share the floor with guys whose cards I used to collect.
You know, since Shaq and Hakeem were so different, you said you guarded both of them. Which one caused you the most problems between the two of them?
Hakeem Olajuwon, because he could do so many different things so well at such a high level. It was basically a guard in a big man's body. Footwork, ball handling skill.
Dub, let me back up. I'm changing my battery. Let me back up.
I got you, bro.
Speed, agility, you know. Shaq, we knew what it was with Shaq. It was just going to be straight up brute force. You know, and that's exactly what it was.
So if someone asks you the best big of like that era, the 90s and 2000s, you always favor Hakeem in that conversation.
Oh yeah. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And you know, Shaq wouldn't be too far off, you know, because I you know what, I put Shaq second and then David Robinson and Patrick Ewing.
Yeah, I like that.
Patrick Ewing gets slept on just because he played in that era.
And
very underrated. Very underrated. Yeah, very underrated. Just imagine that one little floater of his that dropped, you know, would have changed the course of history.
Exactly.
Facts. A lot of these, do you believe in ranking players based on if they won or lost?
No. Otherwise, Bill Russell would be number one. 11 and 13 years.
I'm loving these NBA players' takes. I'm not gonna lie. I'm loving these NBA players' takes.
But you do consider it though. You consider winning to some degree though, correct?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
How about this? Oh, I was gonna wait till Ticket gets in here, but just out of curiosity, what is your top 10?
My top 10, man. You know what? I gave a top 10 the other night, and I was thinking about it. I was like, hell no, I absolutely screwed up. You know, but okay. So my revised top 10.
Okay.
Now you can put Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or Michael Jordan. It doesn't matter. You can't go wrong with either one. You know, you can't go wrong with either one. You know, as one or two, Kareem or Michael Jordan. I'm biased. I'll say Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, but you can't go wrong with Kareem or Mike. You know what I mean? So three will have to go to Kobe. You know, three would definitely have to. You know, because that's Mike 2.0. You know what I mean? 4, excuse me, and then the fourth all-time great. Oh man, you know, let's boy, oh boy. Revised. The fourth player I put up there will be Larry Bird. Larry Legend. Larry Legend was a killer. Larry Legend was a killer.
Hey,
boss. If he played today, he would give everybody such fit He talks shit like no other. These guys think that they talk a lot of shit today. Larry Bird will talk everybody out the game. He talk everybody out of their game. You know, because you got Steph who will shoot a three and then turn around before it hits. You know, Larry's going to come up and tell you where he's going to shoot from and what he's going to do before he, you know, puts up the shot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's going to be a hard dribble left, step back, off the glass, you know, rainbow art, crazy, you know, and then come out and do it.
Mm-hmm. Who's
you know,
5?
5. Oh, man, much love and respect to Tim Duncan.
I love to hear that. That's what I love to hear, man.
Tim Duncan behind Larry Bird. That's what I like to hear.
Please stop. Please stop. Please stop. Jesus.
Duncan, a big fundamental, man. Another guy kept it real simple. It was so damn effective. You know what I mean? And he had a cache of weapons also. His bag was deep. You know.
He just won points with Lowe. He won points with me, with Kobe, number 3. Who's 6?
Oh man. Yeah, I gotta give love to KD.
Whoa. Dub's loving this. Dub is loving this.
This is my guy right now. This is my guy. Yes.
There's someone who has KD at 27 who I know is steaming right now.
Oh yeah, I'm here, nigga. I don't back down from what I say. I'm right here. Go ahead. We gonna. Hey, me and the big dogs, we don't agree on everything. But free on a lot.
Hold on. Excuse me.
Go ahead, brother.
Hold on, Katie. Sit down real quick, young fella. Magic Johnson. I had Magic Lord. I had Magic the other day, and that's one of the things that made me think, like, what the hell? I had to go Magic Johnson, then KD.
But you think Bird was a better player than Magic, though?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Magic was more flash.
I agree. I agree with that.
Yeah.
So you got 7. You got 3 more spots. You
got KD over Steph.
I don't know. You got KD over LeBron.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Steph isn't even in my top 10.
That's nice. I like
that. He's not in my top 10. Yeah.
But you got KD.
He's not in my top 10. So
you got KD over LeBron though.
Oh yeah, easy button.
Oh easy button. Yeah, I like.
Have you got LeBron in the top 10 though? Is LeBron gonna come in these next 3 names?
LeBron is number 10.
Okay.
Who's
Hey, boss. Why do you have KD over LeBron? I like to know. That's the first time I ever heard that.
Oh man, KD's an efficient scorer. You know what I'm saying? He's done more with less. You know, with less around him.
Whoa.
What? Okay, so you take away.
Steph's not even top 10. So let's think about it.
You take away Golden State. He's still done more with less.
Yes,
you know what I mean? Even though I'm talking about scoring wise.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I'm talking about scoring wise. He didn't have the talent around him that LeBron had throughout his career. You can argue.
Kyrie, D-Wade.
The spacing. Go ahead, bro.
Someone argued that he did. You know what I mean? But the GM had far better teammates. You know,
teammates.
I want to hear the rest of the top 10.
His teammates now the GM's teammates.
The GM,
they had to dummy down their game. He took away from their production.
Yeah,
now you getting cooked, Lo. Now you getting cooked, Lo. Now you getting cooked, Lo. Now you about to get cooked. Go ahead. I'm liking this. I'm liking this, big dog. Go ahead.
Kevin Love. Let's Kevin Love.
Made him a spot.
You got Minnesota Kevin Love, and then he's in Cleveland. And what's happened ever since? What happened once he got to Cleveland? You know, he went from killing inside out to just being, 75% of the time spot up shooter.
Mm-hmm.
KD doesn't take away from anyone's game. It's like just plug and play.
Right. He doesn't. That's why I have him above LeBron.
Okay, so who's 8 and 9 then?
You're preaching the gospel right now. I'm not even gonna hold you.
You got two more, 8 and 9.
I'm expecting it will probably be Hakeem and Shaq.
Did I already say Elgin Baylor?
No, you did not.
Okay, so Elgin Baylor.
Elgin over Wilt? I never heard that before.
Hey,
Will
I
was
told you,
suspect.
I revised it. Because
Okay.
last week,
I
because
like
last
this.
week I had Will up there too. You know what I mean? And Will can be on everybody's top 10. He can be on everybody's top 10. Real talk. Real talk. Real talk.
So you got
So,
Elgin.
One more name to finish.
We'll go ahead and throw still that number 9.
Okay, so we
That way
got.
we'll please the crowd.
So we got
because
Kareem.
they'll want Will.
Nah, you won't have to appease the crowd.
They'll want
You'll have
because the argument will be because Will averaged 50 for a whole season. Will scored 100 in the game. You know, then they'll have Will between 2 and 5 on that alone.
Oh,
you know,
not
and you know what? And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that.
That's fine, but like I want to know who. I don't want to hear. I don't care about the crowd. I just want to know because I just never heard that before, so I was just curious. But besides Will,
you got to think of
who would
all
you
the
put
great
in that last
players.
spot?
You got to think about all the great players that's come through the league over the years, and so you're gonna have lists that fluctuate and change all the damn time. You know, because then you start thinking about, damn, how did I not say this dude? You know, and then bump somebody out or bump somebody lower. You know what I mean?
Because you didn't
It
say
happens all the time because you have so many greats that have graced the court.
Yeah, because you didn't say Shaq. You didn't say Shaq or Hakeem. Shaq or Hakeem got left out, but
yeah, I thought he was gonna have. I thought he was gonna have Hakeem over Wilt. That's what I thought was gonna happen.
Oh man, look, like I said, there's been so many great players that grace the floors, man. You know, so like I said, you can think about it time and time again, and your list will change for whatever reasons. You know, you'll think about this player, and again, how did I forget this dude? You know, how did I forget? How could I leave him out? You know, everybody can be moved around. Everybody can be moved around except for the top 3. But then sometimes people,
Kareem, MJ, Kobe.
But sometimes people, Kobe is just because of pure hate and ignorance. Pure hate.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
That's why you wouldn't have Kobe in the top 3. Pure hate, pure ignorance. Kobe was a hell of a player. Hell of a player. Like I said, Mike 2.0.
I agree.
But I mean, he came in with a better jump shot than Mike.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%.
Look at Doug.
Imagine if Kobe had gone to college for a couple of years instead of sitting on the bench for a couple of years.
And really matured his game. I mean,
you know, but look, he was killing guys on a daily in practice. I used to have lunch with these cats, and they couldn't stop marveling about this dude and what he was doing.
Oh, you played on the Clippers, right?
Yeah. But I played with the Lakers in the Summer Pro League.
Fire,
you know what I mean?
fire.
Yeah, because I went undrafted, so I played with Kobe and D Fish. You know, I coached Kobe at ABCD camp when he was in high school, when I was in college. So
that's fire.
You know,
imagine Kobe with the illegal defense.
Like I was telling Ticket, you know, with that experience, we knew Kobe was going to be something special. We just didn't know he was going to turn into, you know, Kobe fucking Bryant. You know what I mean?
Oh boy, Jesus Christ!
That was an amazing list.
So just for anyone who missed it, can I just say your list for anyone who missed
it? Quick question.
Okay.
Which Kobe would you choose? 8 or 24?
I always favor 24 because I think that version of Kobe was just more skilled and more cerebral, whereas I think 8 was more athletic. But I always prefer like the mentality of 24. I just think what he was able to bring to the game, being that skilled, I think that's where his jump shot really was more refined even than Kobe number 8. But you can't go wrong with either, to be honest.
Hey, big dog, I want to ask you a question, man. Oh, go ahead, Mark. Go ahead.
I might also favor 24, but 8 defensively. When he was younger defensively, yeah, that was kind of tough back then.
Bro. The later part of 8 gets really slept on because he played with Shaq. Just because he played with Shaq, but The later part of 8 is damn near the same as 24 Kobe.
I don't know if he's a damn near. I think he's.
I think what Kobe had defensively is number 8, but then you got the better passing and playmaking, just being an overall smarter player is 24. I think that's why I'm taking 24. Plus, if you want to go the rings route, I mean, getting to Pau Gasol, I mean, kind of cemented everything.
Y'all gotta stop disrespecting Pau, man. I'm tired of this.
Oh, I think Pau is a hell of a player.
Yeah. I love Pau, man. I love Pau. I'm happy for him that he got his jersey retired.
I'm happy to
take it.
Some people don't think that he deserved it.
Nah, I was going to ask him some about the shit y'all was talking about. The league that need Carmelo now. That Carmelo can't play in the league now. And I was going to ask him, what did he think about that?
Oh, we just spoke about that as well. So yeah.
Yeah, that's BS, man. Melo could still play in the league. You know, and that's stuff that Brooks was talking. Brooks is afraid that if he gets a guy like Melo on his team, that's going to take away from his shot. From his shots.
He doesn't need to be taking more shots.
Now John's out. So now John's out. You know, he thinks that he's next up. You know what I mean? So he's gonna compensate for the shots that John Morant would have been taking. You know, you bring in a guy like Melo, who's a scorer, who's a known scorer, bona fide scorer. You know, that's a threat to him. So why would I want a guy like that on my team? Is what, who thinks that? I would want the guy on my team. Another scorer to make things easier for us as a team that could possibly get us over the hump. Hell yeah. Bring him on.
Hell yeah.
Bring him on. They're saying that the guy would just be there for a check. Oh, we love the game. We used to play for free. We used to play for free before we got the opportunities that we got. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. People are talking shit about Dwight Howard over there in Taiwan and the way he's playing and shooting threes and, entering the 3-point contest. That's Dwight Howard. That's the Dwight Howard that the NBA wouldn't allow us to see.
Hey, man.
He gets the freedom to play,
Yes, sir. I got some
He gets drugged for it.
I got some super chats I got to read off, so give me 1 second for everybody. Not going to lie, I thought Ayton would be a better number 1 option over Mikal Bridges. I was clearly wrong about that. Mikal Bridges has been playing great on the Brooklyn Nets. Teddy Hart with a super chat. How did Moses Malone get 2 all-defensive selections if defense was a weakness for him?
Probably because he was a rebounder. I mean, you put up those crazy rebounding numbers. I'm not saying he was a terrible defender. I think in Houston, he was good. And then I think in Philly, it tailed off a little bit. But I think it's probably due to his rebounding numbers. I think he was decent at blocking shots, but I think if you watch him or try and watch as much as you can, I don't think you'll see an all defensive caliber guy. But maybe I'm wrong. But that's just my opinion.
Got you. I will put George Mikan top 10 center all time.
Everyone's list is their list, man. Everyone's list is their list. Everyone's list is their list.
Let it rock. Robert Dredden, y'all capping hard. AF Moses and the 83 Sixers swept Showtime, knock it off.
Who said they did?
Yeah, they did. I mean, the Lakers were up, like I said, every game at halftime in that series and managed to lose every single one. But yeah, they did sweep the Showtime Lakers. They also had a guy who won the MVP 2 years prior on that team before Moses Malone joined them. So you could argue they were one of the first super teams. So I mean, do with that what you will. That's what I'm going to say. Do with that what you will.
They were the first. Well, maybe not the first because
I mean, yeah, considering they were in the finals the year before Moses joined, he then joins.
He did join. Yeah, he did join the team already.
I mean, some people get knocked for joining the team that was just in the finals the year before and had an MVP. Some people get knocked for that, but Moses Malone, I guess, is fine.
That is true.
Comatose, ladies and gentlemen, as usual, Ticket brings that heat. Angie Carr, what y'all think about Emmanuel Quickley's ceiling?
6-man. I think he can be a good 6-man microwave off the bench. I don't think he's going to be a starting point guard for a team, in my opinion. I just don't think. I think his defense is starting to improve, but I think he's someone who wants to have the ball to score, doesn't provide much off the ball, but he's great getting to the rim. He's good, solid 3-level scorer. I think he can be a 6-man Malik Monk type.
Hey, let me ask, Claus, I want to ask you a question about something else these guys talk about. They like to use analytics a lot. We call them the mathletes, and I'm talking about Low and Mars. So they like to use analytics a lot to lean towards the arguments. And I tell them that, look, analytics, they can use it, but physicality can't be put in the analytics. So when you change the error, talking about physicality, just because you change an error and change a number doesn't mean that, you know what I'm saying, the physicality is going the output is going to be the same due to the physicality of the game.
Can I before you say anything, Ticket, can I just ask you what analytics you believe me and Low use?
No, y'all use it. Y'all use analytics to, like, for when we talk about what this player could have did in this area. Low always say, "Oh, well, if you do the numbers like this, the same like he did for LeBron and Kareem." You know what I'm saying? Like Kareem was playing in the area.
What about me? What about me? Because you said that's what Low does.
Well, I mean, you agree with everything Mars say, so that's why I put you in there too.
No, I'm asking you what I've used, not what I agree with Low about, because I didn't say anything. I'm just asking you what I used.
No, I'm just saying you use the same thing. Whatever Mars say, you agree with. For example,
but that's not true.
Okay. Forget analytics. For example, Low says, Low says, "Oh well, John Stockton's overrated as a playmaker. He's not a good playmaker. He was just passing the ball to Karl Malone," and you go along with that. You know what I'm saying?
I want to make it clear. I said 6 months ago, before Low ever came on this show, that I think John Stockton is overrated as a playmaker. I said that 6 months ago, before Low ever came on the show.
Actually, Low agreed with
that's not me copying Low. I didn't even know Low had that opinion until we first met, and he said that he appreciated me speaking the truth on John Stockton. Well, that's also not based on analytics. That's just you trying to say I agree with Low. So I just want to know what analytics is. Whether or not I agree with Low is irrelevant.
And also, I never said that he only passes to Karl Malone. Like Mr. Claus just said, he listed off the extensive amount of teammates that he had on his roster that for whatever reason people they act like they have amnesia and they don't want to talk about how he had an extensive amount of quality scorers around him throughout his entire career. I never said it was just Karl Malone, but like Mars is saying, what are the numbers? What
I just want to know the analytics.
What analytics are you talking about that we lean heavy on or we use in these conversations?
No, I mean, like, for example, if I say that Steph Curry wouldn't be doing the same thing in this era that he'd be doing in the era before, you guys will say, "Oh, well, if I use advanced analytics, then I put him here."
What advanced analytics?
Okay. I'll give you an example. Our last argument we had was about Ray Allen and shooting. And I told you guys I thought Ray Allen was a better shooter than Stephen Curry. You two guys sat up here and chastised me and said, because I said if you use it, the numbers that you guys use, the analytics, where we put Ray Allen in this era with less defense, more spacing, I said his percentages will go up. And I said if his attempts were up, his made threes will be up. So then we'll be looking at him as the greatest three-point shooter ever and not Steph Curry, because the records Curry just passed in year 13 or 14. Ray Allen would have shattered those records already. The same way
Ray Allen took 18 years to set. So the advanced analytics, just so I'm understanding, are 3-point percentage and 3-point attempts. That's the advanced analytics.
No, I'm just saying when you talk about analytics and stuff like that, I'm saying we're talking about numbers, advanced stats, numbers that you guys like. If we're changing errors on players, like I just said, we talked about Ray Allen just that last week, and you guys said that you didn't think Ray Allen was a better shooter than Steph Curry.
What actually happened was you said Ray Allen was a better shooter than Steph Curry, and I said explicitly, we don't even need to entertain this. Let's move on. That's what I said.
All right, let me let Boss finish talking to y'all so y'all can get y'all questions.
But what advanced analytic are
because I remember Ticket was the one who said Robert Horry was a better defender than Draymond because he had a better career defensive rating. That sounds more like advanced analytics than anything me and Low have said. That's what you said, Ticket, not us. You said Robert Horry had the better defensive rating.
I also want to be.
I just want to let that be known. That's what you said, not me.
I never ever try to cross what somebody else does without putting things into their putting things relatively to what they did in their era, because I don't want to make arguments off of a player based off a hypothetical. So when I speak of Ray Allen, it's relatively to what he did in his era. What he did in his era was great. There's no knocking it. Like it was amazing, right?
Best shooter of his era.
And without a doubt, the best shooter of his era. But relatively to what Curry's doing right now, even amongst anomalies, even in an era where three-point shooting is at an all-time high, even in an era where three-point percentages are at an all-time high, even in an era where there's just like the offenses are schemed towards more three-point shooting, Curry is still an anomaly amongst other anomalies. He's an outlier amongst the outlier. For me to assume that someone would have to come in this era and do what similar things that Curry is doing, I would have to believe that they were an outlier to the same degree in their era, to the same degree that Curry is an outlier in his era. And Ray Allen and Reggie Miller are not that. Ray Allen and Reggie Miller were not leading the league in three-pointers made as often as Curry was. Ray Allen and Reggie Miller, in contrast to like the league average three-point percentage, it's not the same gap for Curry. So that's the reason why. But
Steph's argument as the GOAT shooter, you minimize it to just him passing Ray Allen. People were saying this in 2016. It wasn't just because of the numbers, because when you watch Steph Curry shoot,
no, I'm not saying
Ray Allen shoot.
No, I'm not saying.
The whole argument was that Ray Allen would set the numbers higher than Steph Curry.
No, I'm telling you, no. Hold on, listen 1 second.
Okay,
and you can ask Big Dog, because I don't want to take. I want him to be able to have a lot of this show, so you guys can bring guys up and let them ask him questions and stuff too. But what I'm saying is, and I'm gonna let him have it after this. I'm saying that if you guys put Curry in the era Ray Allen played in for most of his career under those rules, and you put Ray Allen in this era under these rules for a majority of the time, I'm telling you that the physicality, Ray Allen's percentages will be higher, his attempts will be more, and Curry's percentage will be lower, and his attempts would be less. So all that amazing shit y'all talking about would be dumbed down because of the level of defense that was played back then versus what was played now. It's difficult if you're a guard to get off a shot if a motherfucker is arm checking you like Gary Payton, those guys used to do, coming past half court. It's difficult to get your dribble off and then pull up, bro. I told you guys this. If Curry was going in there getting hit down the lane, getting bumped by those bigs, it's not as easy as it is now, bro. Back then, bro, niggas was getting hit for real. It was a different type of physicality. Go ahead, boss. You got it.
But you're still not listening to what we're saying. We're saying relatively. So I'm putting into context what Ray Allen is doing, and it's just not comparable. But what you're even talking about is just all hypotheticals. I can make arguments to why Curry will be fine in that era, an era where bigs are not standing, they're not even remotely close to defending 3-point lines. Curry also be moving off ball. Ray Allen was not bringing the ball up and getting arm barred and hand checked his way up the court because he wasn't initiating offense as often as other players were. So all those things that you're saying, it's not applicable.
Hey, but I'm gonna get some guys up here, but real quick, I got 4 more super chats to get on real quick, so let me read them off real quick. Mo knows LBJ ran to South Beach when his competition was the Wizards 3 straight years. 2 of them, Gil Hurt, 41 and 41, Jason Collins, Nets, C Webb, and McDice Pistons, who were running with prosthetic legs. That's y'all GOAT? ?
Phase ass.
That was a phenomenal question, actually. Mo knows again, that boy speaking the gospel. LBJ been gassed up. Triple singles disrespect has to stop. And Ticket, you cooking these cats? Yes, sir.
KB is a
we could get some guys up here, man.
Triple single.
What's up, fellas? How y'all doing today, bro?
Salute to the chat. Salute to the panel, man. What's good?
Yo, what's good, yo?
What up with you, man? What up with y'all, man?
What's the
why you talking like that, bro?
Close.
That's not how you talk.
Claws. My fault, family. First of all, respect is due. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you coming on the panel, giving your insight on the game is much needed for the NBA community, and salute for your stories that you told and for you getting a taste of that NBA. Facts. With that being said, KD top 10 family.
KD number 7 to be precise.
What I respect what you said about Kareem first is you talked about the defense. Now, KD on if you got KD ahead of him ahead of Wilt Chamberlain as well.
I'm just saying you can mix it and flow it anyway. You know what I mean? It's subject to change at any time because, like I said, there's been so many players and so many different things that these great players do. You know what I mean? Players can be bumped here and there at any given moment. So the list really don't matter. At the end of the day, the list
KD
really
as KD as a defender compared to the rest of the pack, Akeem, Wilt Chamberlain, Oscar Robertson was a great defender at his time at the point guard position on the perimeter. I mean, Dr. J could play. I mean, I don't. KD to me defensively, he doesn't match up to anybody that you probably got in your top 15. Magic, okay, I can understand that. Even Bird played better defense. Like that's my only knock against KD. And I rate championships that in my criteria. I hold that very dearly. And KD only has 2. When you look at a guy like Will Chamberlain, they both have 2. Will Chamberlain was a better scorer. He wasn't just in the paint backing down like Shaq. He had power moves, but this man basically scored all his points from fadeaway jumpers as a 7-footer.
That fadeaway off the glass.
Yeah, exactly. So he was Akeem and Duncan sort of combined with that shot.
A little bit more.
So as a scorer, I put Will Chamberlain. Those numbers aren't fake. You know what I'm saying? They ain't fabricated. I don't care about the pace of play. Those numbers are his numbers. And then you add 20 plus rebounds and the blocks, and I can't put KD, man. I can't do it. Man.
Will shouldn't be in your top 10 out there.
KD at least as a scorer to me, and I'll let you go because I don't want to be long with it. KD at least as a scorer, I give him credit for Golden State, but with the OKC, with Brooklyn, and now with Phoenix, he has to prove to not only be, to me, the best player on the team, because I don't think he's better than Curry, and he has to be a great enough scorer to lead his team to a championship where they can depend on him down the stretch and close out games as the number one option with the defense focused on him. To me, it wasn't like that in Golden State, but when you look at Kobe, he had that with Pau Gasol, and Michael Jordan, we already know. So to me, KD still has to prove himself even as a scorer on their levels based on that.
Think so?
Oh, definitely.
He's pretty damn efficient as a scorer.
Correct.
He's out there torching cats too.
He definitely is. Is he more versatile than Steph Curry?
Is he more versatile than Steph? Steph is primarily 3-pointers and a few floaters here and there. Where KD does a lot of his work, the majority of his work from within the 3-point line.
How much do you calculate off the ball movement and scoring? Because to me, Reggie Miller and Steph Curry are 1 and 2, but I will take Steph over anybody off the ball.
So okay, you said off the ball. Would you have Rip Hamilton up there too then?
Not on the same level as Steph Curry, because Steph Curry not only does everything that Rip Hamilton does, but Steph Curry could come off screens 30 feet away from the basket. And then also, Steph Curry is the only person that I have actually seen could drive to the lane, pass the ball to the corner to an open man, relocate, and the ball come right back to him 30 feet for a shot, and he make it. He's the only person I've seen do that. To me, he's the best off-the-ball player on the offensive side of the ball. Rip Hamilton is up there, respect. Steph Curry level, no. And KD, no.
Respect Mark Price.
Mark Price? Come on. Ray Allen I put up there because of Mark Price.
No, if you talking about like being able to create open look and then move off ball, no, Mark Price.
Yeah, I got Steph Curry top 10. This KD, that's my only gripe that I come on here for.
KD's your gripe, but not Elgin Baylor.
No, Moses Malone too. I didn't hear Elgin Baylor. You got Elgin Baylor where?
Like 7 or
8.
He averaged 27 points per game. He's one of the. I got him as a top 10 scorer all time. Facts, but overall player, 15 rebounds is tough though too. But like I said, I value championships as well. I got Elgin, I think 17 or 18. Right, him and Jerry West is right next to each other.
Damn, with no championship, 17. That's tough.
Yeah, Elgin Baylor is the only guy in my top 20 who doesn't have a championship. Everybody else, like Karl Malone, is not in my top 20.
Good. We don't talk about him. We don't talk about
him. Got you. Hey, 7, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, I was going to ask Keith who's his top 5 in the league right now.
Top 5 in the league now be Steph.
KD KD got to be 1, right?
Can you let him answer?
Man, Dub,
it's top 5. It's not.
Someone
It's
who's
just
not a
top
KD
5.
Oh,
fan,
okay.
you putting
Just
your
top
KD
5.
fan
Just
is
top 5.
crazy.
Just asking.
It's just top 5.
Just
Just
top
top
5.
5 is not in order. Just top 5. You got Steph. You got Jokic. You got Luka. You got KD. And yes, you definitely have LeBron.
No Giannis.
Oh, yeah, Giannis.
No Giannis.
Again,
guys,
it can shift.
Nah.
Just because I don't have Giannis in there, that doesn't mean that he doesn't belong up there.
So you think LeBron's top 5 right now, but he's 10th all time?
Yeah. He's top 5 right now in the league. Yeah.
Top 10 all time. That's a prestigious club to be a part of. LeBron's in it. No problem with that.
Oh man,
Hey, LeBron's a hell of a player. Still, he's a hell of a player, man. A hell of a player. Can't take that from him.
I'm gonna get some you guys up here, but appreciate the time you guys spent up here. I macked that for 7.
I'm gonna cook you later on that Moses. That's crazy.
It was Moses' take, not mine. What are you talking about?
What was my take?
Moses Malone overrated.
Where do you have him?
Oh no, that's Dub's title. Don't put the title on me. Don't put the title.
I got him 15 right behind Dr. J. The man.
Who's at 16? Who's at 16? Who's at 16?
On mine, I got KG at 16. D Wade 17.
Oh my!
You just said you had Elgin Baylor at 17.
No, I got Jerry West 17. Jerry West 17 behind. No, D Wade 17.
Okay.
Jerry West 18, Elgin Baylor 19, and Zeke Isaiah 20.
I'll give you Moses over Zeke. Everyone else, I think.
Why don't you penalize KG for winning on a super team?
Penalize him.
I mean, everybody penalizes KD.
He's behind Moses Malone.
No,
Moses Malone won on a super
I don't
team.
penalize him.
Moses Malone won on a super team.
KG as a defender is like a top 10 defensive player, debatable top 5.
Better than Moses Malone, right?
Moses Malone is he's better defensively than Moses Malone, but he's not a better rebounder. Moses Malone,
100%, he's not a better rebounder.
Moses Malone for like 6, 7, 8 years. If from like 78 to like 86, he's walking around 25 and 15. Like that's who Moses Malone is. If we're just talking Moses Malone. Now, at the center position, his highest points per game for a season was, I think, 31. Okay. Shaq never averaged 30. Akeem never averaged 30. Jokic never averaged 30. David Robinson, Dwight Howard, Bill Russell. A lot of y'all guys, like half of that top 10, 8 of the top 10 guys didn't average 30, but Moses Malone did. He also got 17 rebounds.
So do you think Moses Malone is a better scorer than all of those guys?
No. Before I say that, before I answer that question, the rebounds as well. His highest was 17. Shaq, David Robinson, Jokic, Patrick. A lot of the guys Shaq, Akeem, a lot of the guys that you got in front of him never did that. So he's a better rebounder. He's walking around 25 and 15. And then at his peak best seasons is 31 points and 17 rebounds. How is he not? No, I got him 6 as a center. And the only reason is because he only got the 1 ring. But I mean, come on, bro.
So me having him 7 versus you having him 6. That's the big issue you have.
But I have him top 15 all time. And when you talk
you have 5 centers top 15.
KG is 20 and 10 at his best. Moses Malone is 25 and 15. Get him out of here.
So a lot of this is based on the box score. Correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of this is based on the box score.
Essentially. I mean, we know his accolades and everything.
How much of this is not based on what Basketball Reference can tell you?
We can go to accolades and we can go to
Basketball Reference tells you that too. Basketball Reference tells you that too. Basketball Reference can tell you the championship and the MVP. How much of this is
tells you everything?
Okay,
how much of this can be without Basketball
Answer this question. At the center position, who did Shaq beat in a playoff series that's better than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? Okay, I hear crickets. For that reason, that's another reason why Moses Malone would be up there. Now, Akeem Olajuwon and Shaq, who you have in front of them, Name a better team than the Celtics and the Lakers that they had to face in the finals.
I'm confused.
Because Moses Malone had to go through Bird, McHale, and Parrish, and he had to go through Kareem.
Oh, so you're saying
that's his
just because he won,
who he's facing and who he's beating.
You're saying that him beating Magic and Kareem on the same team puts him on this much of a
the level that has him sick full time as a center versus me at 7.
When did he beat Bird?
No, but I have him top 15 though all time. You don't have him top 15.
When did he beat Bird, McHale, and Parrish?
No, that's who we had to face. He never beat them. I said I said name competition.
Oh.
Oh, wait,
I'm not going to put the 76ers on the pace on the
so
same
Shaq
level.
So Shaq playing Jordan in the playoffs. I mean Michael Jordan.
I said in the finals. That's one team. That's one team. That's one team that he played. But still, the Celtics and the Lakers are top 5 teams all time.
He faced the Celtics one time.
Who?
Moses.
No, he didn't.
He faced him twice. He faced him twice in the finals.
He faced him in the finals.
He played them in the finals in 81.
84.
He played them in 81, yeah, in the finals.
He played them in the 81 finals. Took them 6 games.
I thought it was 83.
But in 80,
no, he never beat. He didn't go through the Celtics in 83 to 4-4-4. But he swept Magic and Kareem.
He did.
He beat Magic and Kareem in 81.
Bro, he's arguing a rookie Kevin McHale. You're not. He's not even the same players.
The Celtics team didn't peak until 84 to 86. That's
thank you. And then you're also talking about a Los Angeles Lakers team in 81 when Magic wasn't 100% healthy.
And he choked, but we move.
Congrats.
Thank you. You could say he choked, but I don't want to hear. He played 42 games that season.
But he wasn't. But yeah, because he wasn't 100% healthy.
He came off a knee surgery that season.
He had to come off a knee surgery and he had to rush.
He did play. He did play 100%.
No, I'm not saying he didn't play, but he had to rush back and he was not 100%.
Hey, fellas, I want to get some other guys some love.
All right, salute.
So I appreciate you.
I was enjoying that.
I gotta get up out of here. I gotta be up.
All right, Mr. Claus. All right.
Thank you for
coming. Thank you for your time.
A lot of things that we said, man. Thank you.
Hold on. Hold on, before I get off, bro. Mars, I seen that clip earlier with Steve Nash. How do you have Steve Nash over James Harden?
I think I spoke about this before. I think it comes from the reason. I'll say why I think people have a lot of misconceptions first of all, and then I'll address it. I think people like to do this thing where they'll be like, if someone is close in one aspect of a game, and they'll be like, well, this gap is bigger than this gap, so therefore there's a better player. For example, if someone said Giannis is better than Jokic, they'll be like, the defensive gap is bigger than the offensive gap. That's why Giannis is a better player than Jokic. I'm not saying that's Giannis isn't better. I'm just saying that's an example. I think that comes from the same thing with James Harden and Steve Nash. People will be like, well, the scoring gap is bigger than the playmaking gap, so James Harden must be a better offensive player. I don't think it's that simple, because I think when you have Steve Nash, who to me is an all-time great passer, whereas I think James Harden is just a great passer, Steve Nash is in a different tier. And I think when you have Steve Nash as an all-time great playmaker, whereas I think James Harden peaked as an all-time great playmaker, that's still different tiers. It's the same argument I had when I think making a 60-win team a 70-win team, even though the increase in wins is only 10 wins, to me, that's a bigger gap than making a 20-win team a 40-win team, even though that's a bigger gap in wins. I think that's the same argument for Steve Nash. I think what he did was so transcendent in terms of a passer and a playmaker that even though he didn't score to the volume of James Harden, I think what he did as an efficient scorer, as someone who's a much better shooter than James Harden, even without the ball, even though Nash didn't get off the ball as much as maybe he should have, even without the ball, he still provided more value than a James Harden did. Him being a clear better passer and playmaker, like I said, I think the playoff translation for Steve Nash is also better than James Harden. When you look at how well his offenses were performing and how well individually he was performing, I think it's hard for me to say that James Harden is a better offensive player at his peak without simply just saying he averaged more points. That's the only argument I can really see. And I'm not arguing James Harden isn't a better scorer than Steve Nash. Of course he is. He's a much better scorer than Steve Nash. But I think as a whole offensive package, everything Steve Nash brought to impact his teams and just him individually, I think he's a better offensive player. But I think James Harden in his own right is a top 15 offensive guy. Steve Nash to me is just top 10. So it's not much of a big difference.
So you're saying you got Steve Nash because he's a better passer and playmaker. You're saying it's a different tier.
Him being a transcendental passer and playmaker, also being to me one of the 6 best shooters of all time. I'd say I'm comfortably saying he's one of the 6 best shooters of all time. Along with, to me, the impact he had on his teams offensively and how that translated into the postseason. That's why I'll say he's a better offensive player than James Harden. Yes.
So you don't think scoring is the most important part of offense? Like, how do you value offense?
I don't think it's a thing where it's so simple as 25% scoring, 20% playmaking. I think however you bring your value, I think the most identifiable way to bring value offensively is by scoring. But I think at some point scoring has a cap of value. I think, for example, Wilt Chamberlain is an example I'll go to. I think his offense became more valuable as he scored less. So I do think offense scoring, it depends how you score and it depends how well that scoring impacts the team to determine how impactful and how valuable it is for an offensive player. It's not the same scale for every single person. Jordan, for example, I think his scoring became more impactful with Phil Jackson than it was with Doug Collins, even though his scoring averages went down. So I don't think I can just put it on a linear scale for everyone. I think it depends on the player.
Well, for Jordan, I mean, I won't say it was more impactful with Phil Jackson. I think they just had a better team. But
I think both are true. Better team and more impactful.
I did think it's a better team. But like James Harden, like if you look at the teams he's playing with and how he impacted the offense individually, I mean, that's significantly more than what Steve Nash was doing. If you look at the teammates he had and all that. And the fact that James Harden would be a playmaker, would be a scorer, he would give you 30 plus any game. He will give you 10 plus assists every game. While Steve Nash is really just only getting 18 to 20 points every game.
It's the playoff
I'd say 15 to 20. Yeah, that's what Steve Nash was giving you.
It's the playoff drop for Harden. That's
it's the playoff drop.
Yeah, I mean, the playoff translation is a big issue for me with James Harden, but I also think offensive impact can stem beyond your points and assist contributions, because I don't have Luka as a top 10 offensive peak, and he's 28 and 8. I think Jokic is 24 and 10. The last year he was 27 and 8. He doesn't have the same raw box score numbers in terms of offensive contribution, but I'm still comfortable saying Jokic is a better offensive player. Same reason I don't have Trae Young in this realm when he was 29 and 9 or 29 and 10 the last couple of years, because I think we should be able to judge, especially with the amount of footage we have of players, we should be able to judge offensive impacts by more than just points and assist contributions. You can be the whole reason your team scores and not get an assist. You can be the whole reason your team scores and not be the one who scores individually. Setting a screen is offensive impact. Like that's a way to impact the team offensively. Moving off the ball is offensive impact. Those things don't come up on the box score. You have to watch the games to see these things unfold. And I think Steve Nash was creating shots for his teammates, whether or not he got assists. I think James Harden's heliocentrism style, obviously, is going to have a lot of points and a lot of assists because there's a lot of isolation, high pick and roll. Not saying Steve Nash didn't run that as well.
Isn't that the system though? You're crediting him.
And it is 100%. It is 100% system. And then you can look back on what he was doing with Kevin McHale. The points and assists went down. I would say he was arguably on a similar level as an offensive player. A lot of people would say he wasn't, simply because the points and assists went down. And that's where it comes back to me saying you have to watch these games and not just judge it by points and assists.
But that's the thing. You could watch these games and put the context of all of the things that you're contributing Steve Nash and his.
And I agree. That's why James Harden is in this tier. James Harden is in.
Let me
okay, go on.
Because I'm not talking about James Harden. I'm just saying in general.
My bad.
All I'm just saying, like when we look at these players and watching the game, you even need to contextualize even what you see, so we could see like Steve Nash and the fact how the moving around and things like everything that you just said before, he does do that, but that's because the system in which he's running in. So is that really Steve Nash, or is that because of the system that Mike D'Antoni put in play? I think we need to tax people for that as well.
I mean,
don't do that.
I don't think I can tax someone. I'm a believer of the best player gets a system built around them more than the best player will benefit from a system. It's the same reason I don't tax Steph Curry for playing with Steve Kerr. And I think Steve Nash has shown, I think in Dallas, he wasn't the best player on the team. I'm not saying he was, but he was the offensive initiator of that team. There's no argument for that. Dirk Nowitzki was able to be an off-ball scorer and someone who was able to attack off assisted baskets from Steve Nash. And Steve Nash was creating the looks for him, and Dirk Nowitzki was able to capitalize. If you look at how Dirk played pre-2004 and post-2004 when Nash left, he became a different player with a lot more offensive responsibility and offensive load. That, to me, is attributed to Steve Nash's ability to play, make, and create.
Don't you think a system
and that's with a different
better than what they are?
I think a system can elevate a player. Yes.
So it can make somebody look better than what they are.
I think Steph Curry was elevated by Steve Kerr. I think you can say Steve Nash was elevated by Mike D'Antoni. I think you can say James Harden was elevated by Mike D'Antoni. Yes, I think systems can elevate a player, but I don't think it's possible for you to perform at this high of a level and be that good simply because of a system.
But he could be as good as you say, but to the level in which you hold him to, which is you said top 2 playmaker, could be a bit of a reach because I think you're over crediting the system that he's a part of.
Okay, so what was the Phoenix Suns system?
The Mike D'Antoni system with them moving all ball, jacking up shots.
7 seconds or less.
7 seconds or less, fast-paced offense in an era where nobody was doing that at the time.
Okay, so if they're playing fast-paced offense, like you said, and jacking up shots, that wouldn't explain how they were one of the most efficient offenses. Because in my opinion, if you're taking the first shot available and scoring at this high of a level, your offense shouldn't be that efficient. The trade-off for high pace is lower efficiency, but you score more in volume. But those Steve Nash offenses were still the best in terms of efficiency per possession, and they had the fastest pace. And then you can look at what they did with Alvin Gentry.
I'm saying
that. Are you going to say was Alvin Gentry running the same system as Mike D'Antoni?
It's damn near the same. I'm not even going to lie.
So now Alvin Gentry does Alvin Gentry play a high?
But Mars, all that I'm saying is you could give credit to Steve Nash for the
I am giving credit to Steve Nash.
Yeah, but I'm just saying you don't have to give. I think that all you do is you just give him too much credit. You could give somebody credit and then give them too much credit.
So too much credit is saying a top 10 offensive peak of all time. So where would you?
No, you said top 2 for.
No, I said top 2 playmaker. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I think that's a bit of a reach.
So who's the second best playmaker of all time?
Well, you rank playmaker differently, so I don't my definition differently.
So then am I overrating it because of
like I would say LeBron, according to your definition, I think LeBron and Kobe and
You think Kobe's a better playmaker than Nash?
See, LeBron, Kobe, and just because I say scoring gravity is a part of playmaking doesn't mean everyone who has scoring gravity becomes a better playmaker than someone who doesn't.
Oh no,
that you can't. That doesn't make sense. LeBron, if you want to say LeBron fan, because I have LeBron at number 3. If I have LeBron at number 3, that's fine.
Kobe, along with the gravity, like that needs to be in it.
But Kobe's not in the same.
He's
not in the realm as passers as these players, bro.
Yes, what you then? And
Dub, you don't believe Steve. Dub, you don't believe Steve Nash. You don't believe Steve Nash is a worse playmaker than Kobe Bryant. Even by my definition, I don't believe it. How are you going to tell me by my definition I should believe?
No, because you said that he's not in the same league as them as a passer. Well, guess what?
He's not.
Nash ain't in the same league as him as a scorer.
Steve Nash creates more shots for his teammates than Kobe Bryant. I don't know what you want me to say. Steve Nash creates more shots for his teammates.
That could be just because of the system too.
Steve Nash was doing it.
Steve Nash was doing that in Dallas, and he was doing it with Alvin Gentry. So if you want to just minimize it to Mike D'Antoni, that's fine.
His playmaking was better than Kobe, and with Steve
in Dallas. Yes.
The numbers will tell you that.
Everything, the numbers, the eye test,
I can find numbers probably.
The eye test don't tell you that. The eye test won't tell anybody that. I don't know what the hell you got.
Dub, I beg you, please, Dub, tell me how many games you watched of the early 2000s Dallas Mavericks. Please tell me. Please tell me how many games you watched of the early 2000s.
Right now,
Dub, I know you're looking at Steve Nash average 7 assists a game. I know that's what you're looking at.
I watched enough.
Then you wouldn't.
What did you watch?
Not as much as you. I didn't watch all the full games, but I will watch about a few quarters of it, of the Dallas Mavericks 07. A few quarters of it of different types of games.
Dallas at 07. Nash wasn't even there.
07.
I didn't even say 07. My bad. I didn't even say 07. Talk about the Dallas Mavericks. What I would do is I'll go look back at some games. I wouldn't watch the full game, but I'll handpick games for some quarters and different types of games and just see how the offense was running with the guys.
And was Steve Nash the offensive initiator of that team?
Yes, he was.
Was Dirk Nowitzki a primarily off-ball scorer who got to attack on closeouts more than how he was playing in 06, 07, 08, 09? Was his game style drastically different?
Dirk was always an off-ball guy. He was
Steve
Nash, Jason Kidd was the initiators.
Dub.
When they played with
Dub. What was the difference between Dirk in 2007 and 2003? Are you going to tell me they were playing the same role?
No. Dirk was more on ball in 07. 03 he wasn't. I'm just saying Dirk he primarily played off of the PG.
Yeah, but what was a different style of game plan for Dirk in 07 and versus 03?
Why are we talking about Dirk?
Because it will explain the difference in how they initiate offense. So
because of Steve Nash's playmaking ability.
So how was the primary way that Dirk was scoring in this year, and then how they functioned offensively in 07 versus 2003?
I'm pretty sure Dirk was just more on ball in that time than they were in 03. I don't remember the exact details of it, but I do know it's the premise like that.
Y'all asking this question like Steve Nash made it so much easier for Dirk that he wasn't dominating without Steve Nash. Like
no, he did, but no, in the earlier stage he did.
This is different. It's
no,
just
but no,
different,
he did.
like,
But he did. No. But again, no. I love Dirk, but no, he did make it easier for him. Like I don't know what we're talking about.
He still was balling out without him. Like it's not like
we're not saying it's not, but he without a doubt he did make it easier for him. I don't know why y'all fighting this.
Nobody's fighting that. Who said that? Who said that we were fighting that?
What I'm saying is
all that we're saying is for you to say that
he literally said, "Why are you making it seem like he's making it easy?" He literally said that.
No.
I'm saying why you make it seem like a big deal, as if like you're making
the reason I brought up the reason I brought up the Dallas years is because we spoke about Steve Nash benefiting from Mike D'Antoni in that Phoenix offense. My point I've been making is Steve Nash was a fantastic playmaker in Dallas with Don Nelson as his coach. He was also a fantastic playmaker post D'Antoni with guys like Alvin Gentry as his coach. So I'm saying we've seen that's an 8-year stretch where Steve Nash was one of the best playmakers in basketball, and he peaked as the best playmaker in basketball with Dirk Nowitzki next to him. Dirk Nowitzki went from in 06.
What I'm saying, Mars, when we were comparing Kobe Bryant, Steve Nash, because that's how we all started. There's no way that you can sit here and tell me with a straight face that as a playmaker, that Steve Nash was better than Kobe Bryant at his peak.
My face is so straight.
You're just wrong. You're just wrong.
You're just wrong.
There's no way. No way y'all think that. There's no way. For your definition of a playmaker, there's no way.
But you still have to make the pass, though, dog. You still got to pass the ball.
Kobe passed. You act like he won't pass.
I'm not saying he doesn't pass, but the amount of passing that was done versus Kobe and Nash, it's not the same.
Dub, do you believe Kobe created as many shots for his teammates as Steve Nash?
You're talking about
not with by my definition. Do you believe he did that?
You're talking about playmaking, including scoring gravity, and how that creates looks for people.
Yes.
And if he hits somebody on the left of him, which creates an open look on the other side, that's a part of playmaking, correct?
Yes.
So a guy who's generating that much attention from scoring, and he does have a willingness to pass, it doesn't make sense to me in my mind frame that y'all would sit here and think that Steve Nash on the Dallas Mavericks team was a better playmaker than Kobe Bryant.
Gabe, if you're here, we need a poll, by the way. But okay, Dub, how much scoring gravity would you say Steve Nash had?
Oh my God, bro! I don't know.
Asking.
I think he has a good amount, but it's not to the amount of Kobe.
But you think, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, just a scale of 1 to 10, how much scoring gravity did he have? How good was he at drawing bigs out of the lane? How well would he probe around the paint and get Amari Stoudemire dive into the rim? How great was he executing a pick and roll? How great was he putting pressure on defenses in those ways? What was he doing?
That's pick and roll action, and I mean Kobe Bryant, what 7, 6?
Oh my God, we gotta go. He said we gotta move.
I don't even. We gotta move on. I'm not gonna lie. I don't get this whole because. When you react,
it seems like you base scoring gravity of points per game. I'm not gonna lie.
No, Mars, because it doesn't make sense to me. Because in a pick and roll action, especially with Kobe Bryant, even Kobe Bryant is drawing that much attention up as well. Like all of these guys is doing that. Especially if you shoot.
That wasn't my point.
That's not what.
Well, what's your point, Lo? I mean, what's your point, Mars?
My question was how much scoring gravity did he have, and then I gave examples of said scoring gravity. You understand those are all parts.
I'm not sure to give.
I think the gravity.
Lie, Mars, you're asking me to give a ranking on something that I don't even think or talk about. So I'm giving.
But you're talking about it right now. Your whole argument with Kobe has been scoring gravity. So if you're talking about it, you must be comfortable to be able to talk about it.
No.
Otherwise, you have no reason to talk about it.
I'm asking.
You shouldn't talk about stuff you're not comfortable.
I want to question your logic because it doesn't make sense.
How can you question my logic if you're not comfortable talking about the logic?
Where do you rank Steve Nash's scoring gravity compared to Kobe's?
Also compared to Kobe, that's not the question. But I'll answer that question. If Kobe's a 10 with scoring gravity, I think Steve Nash had an 80 to 90% of the same gravity of Kobe Bryant. Yes. And I'm going to explain why. Do I think he scored at the same level of Kobe? No. Do I think he was as willing to score as Kobe? No. But I think the pressure that Steve Nash was able to put on defenses due to his threat to score, because defense didn't know whether he was going to shoot or not when he got downhill towards the rim. And we all know Nash was the first player we ever saw, arguably, him and Mark Price, probing around the rim, waiting for the big to draw him out the lane so that his bigs could get easy looks around the rim. When he was in a pick and roll, we knew that he would hold that dribble just so the big would step up and that could open up playmaking gaps. All of those things are gravity. That's a threat to score. That's a threat to put pressure on the defense.
Why isn't CP3 on the level of these guys?
Chris Paul has excellent gravity. He's one of the best playmakers of all time.
Is he better than Kobe?
I think he's a better player.
Chris Paul's a better playmaker than Kobe Bryant. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't get y'all definitions. I'm not even gonna hold y'all.
No, see, this is the thing, because you thought scoring gravity just meant how well someone scores. It's never meant that. It's never meant that. But you and a lot of people seem to just think everything I say is based sheerly on numbers. Scoring gravity has never been based on points per game. It never has. It never will, and it never has. Because if you watch these guys, you can see how much pressure they are putting on defenses. It's the same reason why even when John Stockton was averaging 17 points a game, he didn't put as much pressure on defenses as Steve Nash averaging 15. Because we can understand if we watch these guys how much pressure they're putting on teams. That's the whole argument I'm making. Steve Nash didn't need to score as much as Kobe to put as much pressure on the defense as he did. I'm not saying he put as much scoring pressure as Kobe, but he put
so where do you rank
damn near more than
Bryant?
A lot of people all time.
Where do you rank MJ and Kobe? Because you rank MJ as a playmaker and Kobe as a playmaker. Where do you rank them?
MJ I'd say is top 10, and Kobe I'd say is top 15. I'm comfortable saying Kobe.
And CP3 is over both of them.
CP is top 10. Yeah, CP is top 10.
CP3 is over both of them.
Yes.
Where's James Harden?
James Harden is also top 10. He's above Kobe. I'm probably say he's above Mike too. I don't know. I'd have to think. But he's above Kobe. If I have to make a list, I'll probably try and make one for the next Open Gym. But it goes something like Magic, Nash, LeBron.
Who is Tyler in the chat? Tyler, the chat's going crazy in his private chat, bro.
Oh yeah, he's a Kobe fan. He wants to cook you on saying Jokic is a better playmaker than Kobe. If you want to bring him in, just saying.
Jokic is a better playmaker than Kobe.
Yeah, Lo, you said Jokic is a better offensive player.
He wants to cook. He wants to cook Lo on that take.
No, my bad. Because I had Mars is right. I had a completely different understanding of y'all whole playmaking takes. Because it's something that I'm still trying to learn. So I mean, when you put it in that sense, I get it now. But
wow, that's growth, Dub. I gotta applaud you for saying that. Okay, I appreciate that, Dub.
Well, I mean, I'm not just gonna sit here and just say that you guys were wrong in y'all train of thought. I just had a different understanding of what y'all guys were talking about with playmaking. I didn't think about it like that. I thought it was something completely different.
Gravity is just the pressure you put on defenses, and
yeah, I know what gravity is. I just thought y'all, the way that y'all valued it, like you would sit here and argue like Kobe's a better playmaker than Jokic, or no?
No, bro.
I don't think Kobe peaked higher as a playmaker than Jokic now.
No. Because the thing when it comes to playmaking, at the end of the day, the problem with Kobe is that if you put if double team comes, or like I'm just grabbing attention from like the defenders, right? Like there'll be plenty of times where even somebody doesn't come, but there's a lot of attention that's on Kobe.
No, they just shaded over to his side.
And they're shading over him. But Kobe's way to overcome that is just by finding different angles to score. So even though, yes, he's putting pressure on the defense, and even though, yes, defense are looking at him, in my opinion, to consider that still being playmaking, would have to eventually find somebody for an open look or a better look than what Kobe's about to attempt. But if Kobe's still attempting tough fadeaways, to me, that's not playmaking. But you just figured out a better way to leverage your skill as a scorer.
So playmaking is strictly you just sit here and
creating shots for your teammates,
and then your ability to pass. Correct?
What?
Passing goes into it, yes, but I also think.
But Kobe doesn't have to make the pass directly to the open.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah. No, I know.
There's levels to it. I think, for example, if like we'll do the most basic one, if imaginable. Kobe gets double teamed. He swings it to the guy top of the key. He swings it to the corner. He made that play. But for example, if Jokic gets that same double team, I'm not saying this happened, but if Jokic gets that same double team,
no, it does happen.
And he doesn't need to find the guy top of the key. He can just get it straight to the corner. Even though they both make.
I consider him one, but not.
He has playmaking value.
Not to this degree.
It's
not
to that degree. But
he has playmaking value.
Yeah, he is.
He has playmaking value.
I think most players, especially the ones that can move off ball and quality scores, they can have a lot of playmaking value. It's just what happens what happens to the open man that gets open because of your whatever gravity you pull. So if I'm still just shooting over people, or if I'm just finding different angles to get a shot off, even though the defense is like it's like assessing me as a scorer. If the ball never leaves my hands, that's not playmaking. You just found different ways to just score.
But it doesn't.
What about Kobe in 01 though?
Yeah, a lot of people.
Yes, a lot of people play make. Yes,
because in basketball, as a team sport, yes,
no. So because this is what y'all do. Y'all take literal definitions and then kind of stretch it. That's what you're doing here. Is Rudy Gobert a playmaker in your eyes, or like Bam Adebayo?
I wouldn't call them playmakers, but Bam, yes, actually, yes. Well, I wouldn't call them playmakers, but yeah, they do playmake, yes.
I think they provide some level of playmaking value, but I think someone who is a playmaker, because I think you could argue every player on an NBA court besides like, I don't know, maybe Grant Williams. No straight to Grant Williams. I don't know why I just used him, but
and Dylan Brooks.
But no playmaking coming from Dylan Brooks. But you could argue every player in some capacity has playmaking value. I think the idea, like, for example, I think screening, if you have screening gravity and you're able to draw two guys towards you of a screen, leaving your guard able to get into the paint, that's you playmaking. That's playmaking value to me.
So is Dre? Let's see how far.
I don't think.
What do you rank
Draymond Green doesn't have that screening gravity. He benefits from the gravity that Steph Curry has.
No, I think he just said as a regular playmaker. He's just saying as a playmaker.
What do you mean? Where do I rank among power forwards or all time? Because all time he's not going to be on the list.
Just as a playmaker, like where would you put him? Which team?
In today's league, or as a power forward, or what? Are we saying?
In 2016 as a power forward. What's say power forward?
As a power.
As a playmaker. No.
As a power forward in 2016, like, he might have been the best, but I might be missing some people. But he might have been the best
in 2016 as a power forward. Yeah, he probably up there. But in 2016 as a whole,
just playmaker in general.
I'd say Draymond. I'd say Draymond Green is a B tier playmaker.
In 2016 amongst all players?
No. Just in general amongst all players. Like which?
I wouldn't. Okay. I wouldn't say B either.
C plus. I'd say he's a C plus.
Which players is he around?
Okay. Let me think.
Because you have to include the scoring gravity that he had, the passing, and you have to include the screen setting.
This is interesting. I got to think 2016.
In 2016, I would say. See, I think Blake Griffin's a better playmaker than him in those years.
Wow, if he didn't do the screens and wasn't passing,
he was still. Blake Griffin was passing, and he definitely said a lot of.
Not as much as Draymond.
Not as much as Draymond, but the playmaking gravity from him being a lob threat and teams having to rotate over to contain him from a lob threat that would give other players open looks.
I'm not gonna lie. I think y'all just put too much into this playmaking thing, where it makes it very difficult to differentiate between players. I'm not even gonna lie, because when you include all those factors,
I think basketball is a lot more nuanced.
No. There is, but that's why people, Mars, they have words and they separate this for a reason. Like
they call it impact, right?
They call it impact. They call it like they separated that already. That's what they call it though. They've separated this already for us, bro. What you're doing is you're just trying to combine everything and creating your own definitions for stuff, and it's like
because I think that goes into making a play. I think that literally fits the definition.
But you see how
you're asking me questions I've never thought about. I'd have to think about it.
Because these are questions
I don't just say things off the cuff. I need to think about it.
Exactly. But these are questions that needs to be answered because when you include all these factors,
and if you give me time to think about these things, I can think about them. This is the thing. I don't want to say something, then I think back on it and I regret saying that. So this is why when we come on these shows and I have ideas of what I want to say, I make sure I say exactly what I mean, how I mean it.
I'll say Joe Johnson. Joe Johnson's the name I would throw around C plus.
Who's Joe Johnson even playing for in 2016? I don't even remember.
If he still wasn't in Atlanta, it's probably Miami at that point.
Yeah, I'm gonna read off these super chats, man.
Man, bring Tyler in here, man.
Ask. You see this? You have host privilege.
Clause.
Ask Klaus, how much refs have outgrown
outcomes of games?
Mars, you got
Jesus.
Ask Klaus, how much
it's a bit too
refs
late to ask him that now.
Jeremiah Smith, KD Bird over Braun all time.
And Elgin
I
Baylor.
almost unsubscribed.
And Elgin Baylor.
Comatose, all jokes aside, this has been my favorite episode by far. Great show today.
So
a lot
far.
Of knowledge being
Hey, I'm about to cook all
disseminated. I just want to say, because Dub hasn't done his job. Shout out to our GOAT members, King J and Comatose. We appreciate you guys.
Thank you so much for doing that.
And if you want to become a member, the link is in the description. But shout out to you guys for
chat. W host for Mars.
I was actually going to say that right after the super
Comatose sent out 3 super chats.
Chat. W Mars, man. W Mars in the chat. Man.
Wow.
Yo, Dub.
Love, put love in the chat.
Y'all
man.
just taking, y'all nasty, bro.
Yo,
right by scoring gravity, Jokic, Embiid, and Giannis. Hold on, give me 1 second, my guy. Passing the ability to pass the ball, playmaking the ability to create a shot for yourself or your teammates, whether that be on or off ball, and then playmaker, a player whose role is to create scoring opportunities for his or her teammates. So I think we're gonna have to start reevaluating.
We have to answer that actual question about the gravity that drinking water sent. Scoring gravity, Jokic, Embiid, Giannis, rank them 1 to 3. For me, it's Giannis, Embiid, Jokic.
Shut up.
Jokic. I think Jokic would be 1.
You think Jokic has more scoring gravity than Giannis?
I think Giannis is more dominant, but the fact that guys need to come up and guard Jokic on the perimeter, I think that makes puts him
I don't agree.
I actually think
Embiid might be number 1. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's Embiid, Giannis, Jokic. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's what I think it is.
Okay, I don't know why. What's our go? Come on, man.
Hey, yo, Dub, do you factor in illegal defense when we talk about Kobe?
Don't
even do it.
Let's do it. I'm ready to do it. Let's do it.
I'm about to cook. Don't even try that.
Why?
Illegal
Why not?
defense? What are we talking about?
Lou, you're about to
You
get
don't know
cooked.
what legal
That's all I
defense
know.
is?
Lou, you're about to get cooked.
What? But why would you bring up illegal defense when it came to Kobe?
Because Kobe mimicked his game after MJ, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so MJ 1 or 2 all time, but his ISO game benefited from illegal defense.
Talk to him.
So Kobe, who mimicked his game off of MJ, had a harder time playing ISO ball due to illegal defense, or due to illegal defense not being around anymore. Because when you had illegal defense, there was no free safety or zone. So MJ, when he gets to the paint, there's no free safety, but there's no one to double team him before he gets to the paint. There's no free safety to make him second guess driving to the lane. When Kobe's posting up, right, there's a free safety right there that can get to him quicker because of that rule. So if you watch a lot of tape on MJ, right, a lot of times he would the Bulls would post everybody around the 3-point line, put MJ on the post, the low post, and he was able to ISO a lot. Now you could double team, but the problem was once you commit to a double team, you either had to stay committed and leave a dude wide open, because you can't be in between that 3-point shooter and the double team. You had to pick one or the other. Now by 2001, they allowed zone defense to come into play, where a player can just sag in between his man and the low post offensive player. So that made it actually harder for Kobe to mimic MJ's game.
Bro, you are just chatting right now. You to sit there and to say that a lot of the time they put a bunch of players at the 3-point line in the triangle offense. No, they did not, bro. They did not a lot of times put. That's what you said. That is what you said.
No, they do. They did do that. 100%.
You said a lot of the times though. That's what you said.
Okay, but it was an option. Is my point. You didn't have that. That option was gone once they eliminated legal defense.
And that's fair. But how often did that occur?
I mean, I'm not counting, but you could watch tape on when that did occur. Now, even in the triangle, right? You could even implement this in the triangle. So in the triangle, if he's in the low post, right, and you got the 2 players on either on the corner, you got one on the corner and then one on the wing right there, right? The defensive player still had to choose: am I going to double MJ and leave my guy open, because I can't just sag in between? So the rule applies no matter what offensive system you're in. So it made ISO ball easier in the 90s. Now, in 2001, it was a lot harder to play ISO and further because of that rule. MJ was quoted, right? MJ quoted. He said this himself, and he's a real dude, so I'm not going to question him. He said himself, if they had zone defense when I played, I wouldn't have had the career I had. He said that.
The zone he was talking about was also with no 3-second violation.
Not only that,
it's a different zone.
And you know who also said that? You know who also said
he
that?
said that after the rule, so I'm assuming he knows it's 3-second rule.
But okay, whatever. You know who also said something similar to that was Tracy McGrady, and then Tracy McGrady proceeded to average 32 points in the season. So yes, at the time, people were making hyperbolic statements about it because they assumed something was going to happen to their scoring production, and come to find out, it wasn't as significant as they thought. There's definitely a difference, without a doubt. Oh
yeah.
But that efficiency went way down, though.
Yeah, way down.
I'm saying it affected.
You can easily argue Tracy McGrady had one of the most impressive 32-point per game seasons in NBA history, and including the efficiency. So it's not like the efficiency across the board went down, but not so much so to where somebody could argue that they would have like a crazy amount of like, oh my God, like everybody, they were making hyperbolic statements because they were afraid of what was going to happen. And then it happened, and come to find out, Kobe, T-Mac, players that played before and after still were putting up similar production numbers.
I'm saying it affected that specific style of game. It affected the MJ style where you would ISO a player one-on-one. Because let's be real, MJ, his athleticism one-on-one like that, he's gonna beat his man every time. But if I got a guy shading like that, right, it's gonna change the way you play the game.
So
that's what I'm saying.
Me how T-Mac continued to average 27, 25, 32, and 28 in the years when they implemented it.
I'm not saying that he still can't score great. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying just because.
Let's look at the efficiencies on those years as well. Let's look at the efficiency from T-Mac. T-Mac in those seasons in 2001 was above league average in 2001, above league average in 2002, above league average in 2003, and above league average in 2004. In particular, in 2003, he's above league average by roughly like 5%. In 2002, he's above league average like 2 to 3%. And in 2004, just 1%. So he's still above league average. So the efficiency.
Okay, I don't understand what that has to do with the point I made.
T-Mac's better than MJ. That's
the
point.
I'm making is that making to Kobe though. You try to say that to make a point to Kobe.
I understand what he's saying.
I'm saying Kobe would have actually been more efficient. That's my point. Kobe would have been more efficient. I'm not saying necessarily he would have scored more, but he would have been more efficient under the 90 set of rules than he would have been in the illegal defense. So that's what I'm saying. Because when you got extra help like that, your efficiency is going to go down. That's what I'm saying.
And that's true, but the problem with many people like you is that you make hyperbolic statements to try to push off this illegal defense propaganda. Bro, most of the teams, especially when you have an offense like the triangle offense, it's not structured in a way where one person is on the block and then there's a bunch of players standing around the three-point line to manipulate the illegal defensive rules. Yes, you can find anomalies, especially in the late game situations or the end of quarters where they were able to pull that off. But if you just watch them, no, that's not what they were doing.
I get what you're saying, but
and then you talked about the double team. Guess what? You're like, oh, you're double teaming somebody, at the least one open. They did that. They would leave people open because back in the day, there weren't really that many quality three-point shooters. If you don't believe me, just go back and watch the 96 finals. They doubled Michael Jordan almost every time he touched the ball because nobody on that team could shoot threes. So they did those things. So the people were like, oh my God, they hit at least someone open. Yeah, most of these players are mediocre three-point shooters. So of course they left them.
Oh, yeah. Man, imagine if they had a legal defense now.
Yeah, but I mean they kind of do already.
If you had a legal defense now and you have higher quality three-point shooters, right?
But they do.
Imagine the three-point shooting would be even crazier.
But it's essentially illegal defense, and this is why
it's basically the same thing. You can't leave them, but now they can shoot.
Exactly. So that's the point.
Illegal defense has been replaced with spacing.
Exactly. So that's the point that I'm going to pivot to next, is that if you really believe in what you're saying, then you would argue the same thing is going on right now. That which is you could just sit here and just space out the floor and let somebody get on the block or at the top of the key, and you can't send help, not because of a rule set in place, but because of the skills of the players that display on the team. And what's even worse is that this time, if you do double somebody, more than likely the ball will get to a quality three-point shooter. So would you argue that in today's game, Michael Jordan would be amazing in today's game?
No, I don't think so at all.
Exactly. And that's the reason why I don't take any of your arguments serious.
He don't think.
That's
the moderation. That's the moderation.
No way.
People like him.
No, hold on. Let me respond.
I don't take
So
Well, hold on, wait. Let me ask Lil this. Don't you think that Kobe will benefit from illegal defense?
No, I think Kobe, especially the players in the 2000s, will benefit from the 90s and today. But with what he is arguing, especially in today's game, with the level of 3-point shooting, the concept of you have to double, what people like him don't understand is that they actually did double and they got away with it a lot because the 3-point shooting at that time was so egregiously bad that those players were always missing shots anyway. That's why Barkley ended up losing in 93. That's the reason why the Knicks couldn't get over the hump because they had terrible 3-point shooters. Same thing.
Doesn't that go against your argument though? Because let's say they had illegal defense today. Let's say they had it today. And let's say because of the quality of player, right? If you doubled and legal defense was a thing and you doubled, you're leaving all that extra space. So there actually would have been more space for these 3-point shooters because of illegal defense.
But they couldn't make the shots though, bro. You're saying shooters.
They could, yeah, you're right. But imagine the players we had today. I'm saying imagine the players we had today with illegal defense.
Okay, but that's my point. So again, I asked the question: if Jordan played in today's game, where you could get off the ample amount of floor spacing, and if you doubled him, he's passing into a quality 3-point shooter.
His game. I agree. His game would be different. He'd be passing more. No, I agree.
I'm saying, would he be better in today's game? That's what I'm asking you.
I think his game would be different. I think he'd be passing more. I don't think he used to be ISOing like he did in the 90s. That's a different question.
In today's day.
Oh yeah, because if like he said,
everybody
right?
ISOs right now. There's tons of people that ISO.
Oh, they ISO, but it's not as efficient as it would have been under illegal defense because that's the whole reason they got rid of that. That's the whole reason they got rid of the illegal defense was because you could take advantage.
Pretty sure isolation is more efficient.
Isolation is way more efficient now than it has ever been. You're chatting, boy. You don't know what you're talking about.
How many players you had like Michael Jordan in the 90s that could ISO ball like that? You got more players now like KD and all these guys that could ISO ball. You didn't have that many players back then that could do that. MJ was a unicorn.
Isn't that because of the skill?
I'm about to say the reason why there's more players who get away.
MJ was a unicorn.
But the reason why they get away with ISO now is because of the 3-point shooting.
Damn, he left.
Nah,
he's chatting.
Okay, let me get this.
Go ahead, Solid.
Because y'all be talking too much shit, bro. Tell me one player that Nash or Jokic got just by his playmaking skills to retire their jersey.
What?
Huh?
By Kobe.
Are you about to say Kobe got Pau Gasol's jersey retired by playmaking?
Yes, 100%. Even Paul said that.
Maybe Stoudemire soon, actually.
Paul saying Kobe made him better.
Paul Gasol is ranked higher time than Amada Stoudemire, and the reason that Paul didn't do anything before or after Kobe, did he? What did he do before or after Kobe?
What did Stoudemire do?
But that's what.
Okay.
But how many rings does Stoudemire have?
Oh my God!
Oh, they have their zero.
I'm not gonna know. Tyler, you was talking in the chat like you was about to cook, and I'm hearing nonsense.
Okay, no. Let me get it though. Let me get it. Okay.
Nothing.
Go again. Second chance to Trump.
Tell me one game that was better than Game 4 of the round 2, where he faced the Sacramento Kings, where he dismantled a Hall of Fame team by his playmaking skills alone. Tell me one time that Jokic did that or Nash.
Nash? Oh man, hey, you got no time?
Did you watch? I just want to ask if you watched.
Where I went, my bad.
Did you watch Nash play against the Dallas Mavericks in 2005?
Yeah, I can watch a laundry list of not just games, series from Nash where he dismantled teams' defenses because of his playmaking.
Who got more winnings? Who got more rings? And who got more success by their playmaking skills? Jokic or Nash?
Jokic or Nash?
I mean, Kobe, Jokic, or Nash.
Are you gonna say Kobe's success came from his playmaking skills, or the fact that he was one of the best scorers of all time, one of the best guard defenders of all time,
but
played with one of the best coaches of all time?
It's defense playmaking.
What?
Oh,
I do not include defense in playmaking. No.
But who's more clutch, Kobe or LeBron?
Defense starts fast breaks. I agree. I still don't include
defense fast breaks. It allows players to get in rhythm and allows them to hit their shots when there's like 5 of your guys on that side and there's 3 guys still coming up the floor. That's what defense creates. Defense alone by Kobe, he's better than Nash and Jokic.
even if you're talking about that, even if you want to make the argument to defense, the defense creates opportunities. Bro, the Lakers were not creating so many fast break points that you would justify that argument, especially off of what Kobe was doing. It wasn't like Kobe was solely just redefining that team's fast break.
He has the second most all defensive teams in the.
I'm not gonna lie. If your argument is solely relying on Kobe's playmaking contributed to by his all defense, please do better. Please.
Not only that, but game 2 where he scored game 2 of
one game.
Now look at the whole 2001 run. Kobe was a great playmaker that whole time, bro. Like I don't think he's better than Nash or Jokic.
Great playmaker. I agree. Kobe Bryant goes down as a very underrated.
I got a better question. Who's more clutch, Kobe or LeBron?
Kobe.
Larry Bird.
So let me ask you: Did you guys not know that LeBron got more game winners in the postseason than Kobe and Jordan Combined?
I just want to ask.
I'm just curious. Did you guys know that?
Yes, I've seen that. I've seen this. Is clutchness to you just game-winning shots?
No, it's one of the factors for sure.
Okay, that's cool. And you know the other factors? You know the other numbers for the other factors, or you just know that one number?
Fourth quarter scoring, I would say, is up there too.
No, but do you know the other factors though? Who has more fourth quarter scoring? Who's better in the last 5 minutes or last 3 minutes when a game is a game deciding shot? Do you know all of those information?
Yeah, LeBron's got more of those than Kobe and Jordan combined.
No, he does not.
No what?
You could literally look this up right now.
More of those is more of what? Just
he's got more game-winning shots in the postseason.
You said that already. The second one.
Okay. So I mean, I don't know what's more clutch than a game-winning shot.
Oh, so like I said, your whole argument is based on his game-winning shots.
It's game-winning shots, man.
Your whole argument is game-winning shots. So the whole thing
is one of them for sure. So what do you?
Why are you only making one? Why are you only making one?
Okay, so let's do this. He's got that one. So LeBron owns that one. Let's go to another. Let's go another category then, because he's got that one.
Brian, because I seen this list a long time ago and I forgot it. Low, do you have the list of like the last 5 and that 2?
The last 5 minutes?
Do you have those numbers? Because I forgot it.
Let me go get it real quick. The last 5 minutes is nasty for LeBron, and people like this gentleman here who thinks he knows he's talking about. They just love to forget those numbers.
Because I remember reading those numbers a long time ago, and I forgot all of them.
2000 Western Conference Finals Game 7 fourth quarter. Is that not clutch? What Kobe did against?
Kobe's clutch too. I'm not saying that, but I'm just picking out the stupid
more winnings than LeBron at being clutch. He has more. He's a better winner. He has more rings being clutch, and he's 7-0 in the Western Conference Finals against whoever in the better.
Three of his rings, he wasn't even the best player on his team.
So you telling me in 2001 in the West he wasn't the best player on his team?
Who won Finals MVP?
It doesn't matter about who won Finals.
It doesn't matter. What you mean? It doesn't matter. What you mean? Are you serious right now?
Doug, can you click that link right there?
All big mans in the East were all weak. That's why they needed Shaq more. If you know anything about basketball,
who averaged more? Kobe or Shaq?
Kobe averaged 30 in every single.
And how much did Shaq average?
Conference in 2001.
Oh,
what did Shaq average?
Can you share your screen
below that?
Do it.
So
I want everybody to see.
To the gentleman, who said about why don't you look at that? Jesus.
Career clutch stats in the finals. So you're only looking at the finals, though.
No, but look.
Why aren't you looking at it? That's stupid as hell. Why aren't you looking at the entire play so the whole playoffs don't matter?
So wait. You just told me one shot sample sizes. That's what you argued.
No, I told you playoffs. I didn't tell you just one series. I didn't just tell you the finals. I said playoffs.
Listen. You said one shot sample sizes, which is the game-winning shots.
I said in the playoffs.
I'm showing you 62. I can pick out other ones as well. Both of these players have relatively the same amount of shot attempts in final performances in the last 5 minutes of games when the point differential is 5 or fewer, within 5 points. That would be considered clutch, correct?
Yeah, in the finals. If you're just looking at one series, I'm talking about the playoffs in total.
You're also talking about 5 shots.
You're talking about like a 5 or 7 shot sample size. You're not talking about a wide sample size. But
5 made shots.
Well, it's actually 20. He's actually taking 20. He's actually taking
5. I said 5 made shots.
5 made.
Yeah,
but let me. But don't worry. I'll find the other information. But can you clearly see that in the last 5 minutes of a game that's within 5 points in the finals, like you said, can you get any more clutch in the finals? In the playoffs, can you get any more clutch in the finals when these games are close?
Wait, the left is Kobe, right?
5 minutes.
Yes, the left is Kobe, as you can see.
The left is Kobe.
His picture.
Bro, one is 45%, the other one is 20%.
I swear it. Those four shots.
I'll agree. I'll agree with you in the finals, sure. Look, I'll agree with you. He's more clutch in just the finals, but that wasn't my statement. My statement was the
Western
playoffs.
Conference Finals.
Your statement was LeBron has made more game winners in the playoffs.
Well, that's a fact. Yes.
Yeah, that was we
all agree.
That was my statement. That's a fact. I mean, there's no disputing that. But anyway,
that is a fact. Yes.
Yeah, without a doubt. But that doesn't mean.
And hey, Dub, I got one more thing for you, man. Or maybe not one more, but hey, your 2018 LeBron take is crazy.
Oh, the fact that he
benefited. The fact that the East was mid.
Can I throw some numbers at you?
The East was mid though.
More numbers.
Okay.
Let's go.
He's got the most 40-plus point playoff games in the single postseason ever. He's got the most game winners in a single postseason ever in 2018. He averaged 35 points per game going into the finals. The next best on his team was 13 points per game. That's the biggest gap on a playoff team since 1964. So I mean, it's a crazy take. It's just a crazy take.
Who was he going up against?
I just want. What does any of this have to do?
His team was worse than any team he went up against. His team was literally the worst team since 1964.
That's incorrect. What does any of this have to do with what Dub said? That the East was not good. That was Dub's whole point. The East was not good. You saying that LeBron had 40 points the most times and 35 for a player.
Well, he also said other players could do that. Well, his other point was other players could do what he did.
I just said MJ.
Even though no one's ever done what he did, he's the only player to do that.
He said Michael Jordan beats the Indiana Pacers, Toronto Raptors, and Boston Celtics. And
no one has done what LeBron did on that run. He has the most 40-plus point playoff games. He has the most game winners. You said other players could do what he did.
No one's played those teams. No one's played
those weak ass teams.
Denver are losing to San Antonio right now.
They are.
Okay, Dub, you said Harden could do what he did. You said
I wouldn't say he's playing.
Who else you said he could do what he did? Kawhi? Oh no, that was Ticket. That was Ticket.
Yes,
that was Ticket.
Please, yes.
All I
said was
James Harden's
yeah, no, that is crazy. All I said was for people to act as if MJ couldn't at least beat those teams or even have a chance is ridiculous. They're overrating it.
But you realize LeBron to get to the finals had to do what no player has ever done, right?
Like what?
He has the most 40-plus point playoff games in a postseason. He has the most game winners in a postseason. No one's done that.
How many of that comes from going to 7 games twice?
Going to 7 games twice?
Yeah, just
I mean that's a fact. I mean that's definitely a factor.
So if there's more games, he has more chances to score 40, correct?
Against mediocre comps.
Okay, now we got to look at every player that's gone to multiple game 7 series.
And then
you're trying to tell me no other player has done that? No other player.
And then we have to look at the competition. We have to look at the comp, bro.
How many of them went to game 7 against the Boston
LeBron's the only player to play that competition.
The competition just wasn't that. It wasn't to the degree that makes.
So how come no other players done that?
Because they haven't faced weak comp like that, nigga. Damn.
So no players ever played that type of competition ever.
If you can find me these player fronts, where all-time great superstars played this week of competition to get to the finals, enlighten us.
Low, didn't you say that the Eastern Conference in the early 2000s was ass?
Yeah, so go on.
So how come no one did that then?
Because I don't think any of those players are as good as a top 10 player all time.
Yeah, what?
Kobe,
yeah, that's what I said. If you can find Kobe was in the West. Kobe was in the West, so we're gonna.
No, I didn't mean to go. I meant to say Iverson.
Iverson's not a top 10 player all time.
He's not top 10.
Okay, so let me get this straight. So is MJ the only player that you think could do what he did? Let's just clarify who you think could do what he did.
Specifically in terms of like how many 40-point games and game winners and all.
He's the only player to do what he did.
If Kobe played in the East at that time,
I would argue that maybe they don't check off all those boxes specifically, but do I think they'll go out there?
He had to do that to get to the finals, though.
Well, I think some players,
he had to check those boxes.
Listen, I think some of those players,
if he scored 39, he might still
made
it.
Like, I think some of those players that you're referring to, they were referring to, especially in their prime. I think they will beat these teams much more comfortably without having to score that many points because defensively they'd be much better than what LeBron was in 2018. So I don't think they would actually have to do a lot of the things that LeBron did. But in a general sense, do I think MJ will be able to go through that Eastern Conference and put up crazy numbers? Yeah. Why don't I think? Yeah, of course.
I think MJ is the only person you could maybe make that argument with. I think anyone else.
So you telling me Kobe wouldn't make?
No. I think you put peak Shaq in that Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
And you just kept throwing him the ball. And I think peak Shaq would average like 35 to 40 points against those teams.
Peak Kobe.
I think Pete Kobe would be able to average 35 plus on those teams. I think we already said MJ. Duncan, no, because I think Duncan
Iverson.
Hakeem Olajuwon.
No, Iverson, hell no. Jesus Christ.
Iverson would have.
So how bad do you think that Eastern Conference was?
Terrible.
I mean, you face the Indiana.
So they had 450 win teams. You think it's terrible?
Brian, they faced.
That's crazy.
They faced the Indiana Pacers. They faced the Indiana Pacers, who were a led Victor Oladipo squad. You faced the Toronto Raptors, and we all know who DeMar DeRozan is in the postseason. Then you face the Boston Celtics, who lost their best player
and their second best player.
Okay, first that's a dumb argument because that Celtics. I'm gonna tell you why. That Celtics team, right? First of all, Kyrie's a cancer. I don't care. That Celtics team is better without Kyrie.
No.
Point blank, period.
No, they're not.
Has Kyrie done anything without LeBron?
This goes to my point.
Oh, these are the LeBron James fans I hate.
Has Kyrie done anything without LeBron? What's the farthest he's gone?
These are the LeBron James fans I despise.
This goes to my point about the Giannis Antetokounmpo of Milwaukee Bucks right now. Just because your team is deeper and you're able to string along games in the postseason does not mean where in the postseason having a guy like Kyrie Irving, having a guy like Giannis and Chris Middleton performing at a high level makes your team better. It puts them over the edge. It's the same process of level of thought we have for the Memphis Grizzlies last season. The Memphis Grizzlies played extremely well without Ja Morant, but they were a better team with Ja Morant. Would you sit here and tell me that the Grizzlies were better without Ja Morant?
Oh, hell no. But I think the Celtics are better without Kyrie.
Why?
Because he played with LeBron and he needs to minimize all of LeBron's teammates. Even
if you think that to be the case, where you're not going to tell me that a rookie and Jason Tatum and a sophomore and Jaylen Brown led team, you think that team is adequate competition?
Don't forget about Terry Rozier.
They did not have
I think that's a good team
that year.
You think that's a good team?
I do. I think that's a good team.
Well, you're just
I don't think it's a great team. I'm not saying that they're like this great team, but I think the Kyrie point is ridiculous.
What you say before? He's a bot.
He's a bot.
All I'm saying
is
is
have one All-Star on the Boston Celtics that year when what?
He's a bot.
Is that what do you go by All-Stars? So do you think Kevin Love is a great playoff player?
In that Toronto series, he was.
Because Kevin Love is an All-Star, right?
Yeah, in that Toronto series, boy, he was.
So one out of 4 series, he was good, but he's a great. Even though he's an All-Star, he's an All-Star though.
I don't think he's a good postseason player. Nevertheless,
but he's All-Star. So that's the All-Star thing. Come on.
I think that's a bad argument, but I think you're making a worse argument claiming that a rookie and Jason Tatum and a sophomore Jaylen Brown leading a team is somehow quality comp in that playoffs.
Hey, didn't that Celtics team not lose a single home game in that playoff run?
They were in the same East LeBron was in.
Did they not lose? They didn't lose a single home game in that entire playoff run, but they're not a good team. I got you.
Do you know the conference they were in?
The East
they were playing in the same conference.
I'm not saying they're this great team, but I'm saying for you to say it's a bad team because they don't have Kyrie is ridiculous.
No one said
because that team didn't lose a single home game in that entire playoff run. They were picked to beat the Cavs.
Well, let's clarify this real quick. You're saying specifically, why hasn't nobody else in NBA history did what LeBron did? So if you go through these players, so MJ is supposed to have a run like that when some of his comp is the New York Knicks or the Detroit Pistons or was that what he's supposed to do? He's supposed to do that when he has his competition is better.
Well, first of all, he didn't have to play the Detroit Pistons in the 90s. So let's not put them in there.
The Knicks alone is better than every team that's in that run.
I'll give you maybe the Knicks.
The Miami Heat are better than every team in that run.
Miami, yep. Orlando Magic
and Penny, Orlando Magic are better than every team in that run. So if
I agree with that.
If Jordan has to go up against those caliber of teams, even if it's just one time, That means that he's not going to be able to duplicate those same type of numbers because the comp he's facing is harder. That's why.
I agree. Hey, look, I agree the Knicks are harder. I agree the Magic are harder, but there were also teams in there that during the 90s that I'm sorry weren't that good.
And name a team that he played in the playoffs that you believe that were not that good.
Or not that good, but like were average teams. Like back in the 90s, right?
Name them.
Hold on, I'm getting to that. Back in the 90s, right? You didn't. There were no super teams. It was mainly you had two stars. Where
so Utah Jazz wasn't a super team.
No, hell no, Jesus Christ.
Nah, no, we can go.
Did you just say the Utah Jazz?
No super teams.
No super teams. Carry
what
on.
else?
Okay. Anyway,
Denver really just lost to the Spurs. That's crazy.
Yeah, they did.
So that Utah Jazz team, by the way,
and Jokic had a triple-double.
That Utah Jazz team got swept by the Spurs, by the way.
Man. Oh wait. Okay, so there's no super teams. Okay, I understandably. Okay.
That's my main thing, right?
But there was no super teams in that LeBron run. So let's focus for a second.
Yeah, the Warriors. The Warriors.
You're talking about what he did leading up to the finals.
Well, if he had to play the caliber of teams Jordan had to play in that run, right? He'd have a shit. So we're only talking about this, right? Because we're only focused on the Eastern Conference. But he had in the finals, if he would have faced like a Utah Jazz, he'd have a shit.
Bro, your whole argument is based off your whole argument
is the run to the finals.
Off of the runs to the finals. That's your argument.
Yeah,
but the only reason you guys don't hold that in high regard is because he didn't finish the job, correct?
That's not why. We just told you it's because of the comp. You're not listening. But I'll ask the question again. Name me the bad teams that Michael was facing.
No, he didn't play a bad team. I don't think Jordan played a bad team.
Name me the teams that Jordan was facing leading up to the finals in the Eastern Conference that you think were not like piss poor or subpar playoff teams to the same.
I don't think any of his teams were subpar. I think they were just normal teams. That's my point. I don't think he played a team that you was like, oh my God, that's like an all-time great team.
Name me the
if you think he played an all-time great team in the 90s, let me know which one it is. Let me know.
We're talking about the Eastern Conference, teams. We're trying to figure out why nobody else duplicated the production of LeBron. We're telling you it's because of comp. So then you said, oh, well, the comp did XYZ. Okay, all right, fair enough. Okay, so what was the comp that you believe that was subpar enough for Jordan to have been able to duplicate that in the Eastern Conference?
If I had to pick a year, probably I'd have.
Just pick a team.
Well, I'm gonna pick a year.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna pick a season.
Okay.
Let's go with 97.
97 when he went up against the Washington
97
Bullets.
Or 98.
Listen. 97 when he went up against the Washington Bullets, which is a subpar team, a subpar playoff team, and he got the ability to go up against a team like that. He averaged 37, 6, and 5 in a slower pace era. So once more, when Jordan had, and it was a sweep. So once more, when Jordan had the ability, when he had the privilege to go up against mediocre comp,
was that the first round?
That was the first round.
When they only played 3 games?
Yes, 3 games. In the second round,
to average 37 in a 3-game series, you only had to score 40 twice.
I'm about to finish the.
That's another reason why he couldn't do it.
I'm about to say that's another. You're
just making the point for us.
Yeah, you're using reasons why he wouldn't be able to duplicate it. The next series, he averaged 27, 10, and 5 with 2 steals. So that again is when he's going up against okay playoff teams. Those are the numbers he puts up. But then in the conference finals against a Miami Heat team that was 60 wins and the number 1 ranked defense, his production slightly dropped because he only averaged 38 and 2 assists, and his shooting on the field dropped sub 40%. So when he finally had to face comp, the production was different. So yet again,
hey, yo, can you pull up those numbers? I gotta see them. I gotta verify. I'm not gonna let you just throw numbers down like that. Because I'm pretty sure he shot 84 times he shot 84 attempts in the first round, and he averaged. I think he might have averaged 37, but I'm pretty sure he didn't average more than that after that. I'm almost positive.
I never said 37, 26, 30, I think.
So how many 40-point games did he have in that run?
Bro, oh my God, you're not listening to what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that he didn't have the privilege to put up that many points because the competition that he's facing isn't on par. It's harder. Like he's not going to put up 40 against the Miami Heat, dog. It's Miami. It's the number 1 ranked defense.
Oh, this dude keeps.
Okay. Look. Okay, I'll agree with you, Lo. I'll agree with you. But I don't think the gap's that big.
You don't name me the team that you think was close to that Miami Heat team.
Because you're saying the Miami Heat, right?
In that 2018 run, name me the team that was close to that team.
The Miami Heat?
Yes, name me the team.
60-win team? Boston.
Oh no way! And so now you're just.
When did you start watching basketball, my friend?
So hold on. Why do you? So you hold the Heat up? Let me ask you this. So why do you hold it?
My bad.
So when you say the Heat, are you where are they average? Are they great? Where are you putting them at?
No, that's a 60-win ball club with, if I'm not mistaken, an MVP.
So we're gonna just go by 60 wins?
Don't try to tell me Toronto. Don't try to tell me Toronto.
If you stop
that's
talking,
that's why I was gonna say that's a dumb argument.
If you stop talking and you listen, then you will hear me. I'm about to make the next statement. Damn. It's a 60-win team. If I'm not mistaken, an MVP caliber player on the roster in Alonzo Mourning, who also was a Defensive Player of the Year candidate a year as well, if I'm not mistaken as well, with another if I'm not mistaken, All NBA caliber guard on the team also. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Dan Marley was on the roster, and Dan Marley might have made an All Defensive team that year as well. If he didn't, Steph certainly was in the convo that year. So that's why it's different.
So you know how you say the Raptors they just shit themselves against LeBron, which they
always did.
Oh yeah, I agree. Don't you think you could say that about teams MJ played? If you want to play that game.
All I said was DeMar DeRozan is a historic playoff.
I'm just saying, like you could use that same argument against some of the teams.
What team would you make the argument for?
Yeah, what team? Yeah, because DeRozan.
So are you disputing the fact that even players have said this? Are you disputing the fact that teams were scared of MJ? Like they didn't play.
I'm asking you what team.
What teams
did what Toronto did?
What teams?
Because you
did what Toronto did. I don't think. Well, I'll clarify. I don't think any team's ever done what Toronto did. I don't.
So what are we talking
but
about?
I think there was definitely a factor when it came to playing MJ.
So name
where
the teams.
you were
all
the team, every team he played.
Every team he played.
Yeah, every team he played.
I want you to know something. Against the Miami Heat, 2015 to 2016, DeMar DeRozan, before he faced LeBron James, against Miami, was 38 and 25 from the field, had 22 against Miami.
Never mind.
DeRozan drops almost against any adequate team in the playoffs. It's not just a LeBron thing.
DeRozan just
against the Milwaukee Bucks. Against the Milwaukee Bucks the next year, 23 on 43, and didn't even shoot threes like that. He only made one. Then let's look at 20.
Was he 1 of 2?
He was
1 of 12.
1 of 12. Oh man,
1 of 12. 1 of 12, which is crazy. Then the next season against the Wizards,
Wizards is one of his worst one of his best ones. Excuse me.
One of his best ones, but even then, 26 on 43 and 38. It's like
38 from free.
Yeah,
38 from three, but 43 from the field is like, come on.
38 from free for DeMar DeRozan.
No, that's fine.
Took like 2 threes.
That's his best. I think that's his best postseason series, if I'm not mistaken.
So yeah, he's shooting right now 1 out of 2.
DeRozan. Oh wait, is it
1 out of 3? 1 out of 3. That's what he's shooting right now. 1 out of 3.
I'm looking at your Heat right now, about to pull this game out. The DeRozan.
So what did DeMar average?
DeRozan, and in short, though, what we're saying is DeRozan in almost any series. It's not just a LeBron thing. That's what we're saying.
What did he average against LeBron?
Against LeBron. What year? You got to pick a year.
That year, 2018.
Oh, stinky.
He was stinky. In 2018, he was 17, 4 and 3.
So he played just as good as Hardaway.
He got bench, bro.
So he played just as good as Hardaway.
What are we doing right now?
So Hardaway averaged 17. Hardaway averaged 17 against Jordan.
Who's the best player? Is Hardaway the best player on those teams?
He averaged the most points in that series. He averaged 17. He was the top scorer.
Is Hardaway the best player on that team?
In that series, yeah, he was. He averaged the most points.
No, and you're
You haven't watched
that
series.
He averaged 17 points in that series.
You haven't watched that series.
He ain't watched the series.
So did he not average the most points in that series?
The best player for the Miami Heat was clearly Alonzo Mourning.
I'm saying as a scorer. I'm talking about scoring. He averaged the most points. The next best was 12.
You said the best player. That's what you said. You didn't say the best player is a scorer.
Okay.
You said the best player. The best player on that team was Alonzo Mourning.
Even then, like, wait.
I think you
even
could still
then,
argue. Alonzo
even
Mourning
then,
was
wait.
So
Even
Alonzo,
then,
okay.
Wait.
So he averaged
Even
15.
Then, hold up, bro. Even then, DeMar DeRozan going up against folding against the Cleveland Cavaliers, who were one of the worst defensive teams in the league, compared to the Miami Heat going up against Michael Jordan Bulls, which is one of the best defensive teams in history. That's two completely different standards, bro.
No, I also want because he.
No, I
clearly
agree, but I'm saying we're comparing him to that Raptors team. What did they?
But he don't you? My bad. Let me say this real quick though.
Okay.
A guy underperforming against a terrible defensive unit is not the same as a team not playing well against a historic defensive unit.
Okay, that's
Go
can
ahead,
I
Morris.
I just want because you clearly have the basketball reference open because you saw how many points Tim Hardaway was averaging. How many points were the teams averaging in both those respective series?
How many teams? Oh, you talking about the lower pace of the game back then?
How many points did Miami and Chicago score in their series, and how many points did
I think they most they scored was 100.
No, I'll answer it for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, the Chicago Bulls scored the most, 100.
No, there was one game where they got to 100, but on average,
yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
On average, though, it was 87 to 78. Those games back then didn't get that high. And to Dub's point, struggling against one of the better defensive units throughout the 90s versus you struggling against one of the worst defensive teams to ever make the finals in NBA history are two different standards.
When they're like 29th in defense.
Yes.
That is the Cleveland Cavaliers, depending on how you view some of the older years. The Cleveland Cavaliers that's the worst defensive unit to make the finals in modern NBA. So and you struggling against that.
Oh yeah,
team?
no, they
and you using
no, they for sure were. But what my point was bring that up was that Miami team wasn't like blowing the socks off with their numbers. So like maybe the Raptors
in a series where the team averaged 78 points a game. Yeah, I wouldn't expect them to put up numbers comparable to 2018. I wouldn't. I'm sorry.
And the reason and what we're talking about is their defense. They were known for their defensive impact. And so going back to the numbers that we were referring to about why didn't Jordan put up those same numbers from LeBron? It's because in that series he matched up against the best defensive unit in the NBA that season. It's extraordinarily difficult for you to be producing to the level of LeBron that year when you're going up against a historically great defensive team. That's why.
I got three super chats I got to get off real quick, man. You debating someone who talk about free safety and MJ in the same sentence. Who was MJ comp? Top left and right, y'all just be chatting.
We're getting cooked right now.
On top of that, I want to remind everybody that we are sponsored by Lucra. Use code Player's Choice to get a free extra $5. Whenever you do download the app, always keep in mind you also get a free extra $10 as well. The Lucra wager of the week is going to be Julius Randle versus. Did they play last night? Oh no. Julius Randle versus Kawhi Leonard. So keep that in mind. I think that's happening tomorrow. So other than that, man, does anybody have any final words before we head out?
Are we wrapping it up?
Listen, bro, I wanted to wrap this up.
Dub told me before the show. Dub was only feeling to go for an hour and a half today, and we're pushing for.
All I want to say is I just still want to see the proof that Jokic is better a playmaker than Kobe. I just want to see that.
Because he doesn't have as much winnings as Kobe. So if you
watch the game,
because he's a baby. He's a baby in the league. You can't even compare him to an all-time great.
I can. I'm not stupid, so I can actually.
Yeah, I'm gonna lie. Steph Curry is the best shooter.
Low's right on that.
Okay, one playoff series where Jokic even did anything that Kobe did.
What does that have to do with what does that have to do with
once again, you're conflating a lot of things.
Fellas. All of you guys right now, give me your socials and we can set this up on the next episode.
Stop it, bro.
Low. I did not want to be here on here for this long.
You're doing another hour, Dub.
This would have been fine if you guys arrived at Open Gym on time.
Oh my God, I hate y'all. You know
that
what?
Is true. Yeah, that is.
Hey,
true.
Low. So you got MJ over LeBron?
Mars, you got it, Mars. Mars, you got it.
Dub. Oh my god, what am I doing?
And fellas, make
Dub,
sure
end the show. Dub, end the show.
No,
end the show.
Mars, not Mars. And Low, you guys want to continue? You bitching? No, we're not doing this.
Hey, Low, you got MJ over LeBron, bro?
Look at you. Now you're stuck.
No, we're not. Seven Tyler and Brian, make sure to drop your socials in the private chat.
All right, I'm doing that right now.
How is it? How is he able to do this? What the hell? Oh, Mars is still
Dub has too much power, and I don't like it.
Wow.
Don't act
Wait, Dub, end the show. End the show,
Dub.
And everyone needs to comment that Dub is the worst host in PC.
Dub is
please.
the worst host.
This is egregious hosting.
We were late a whole hour.
Over an hour and 40 minutes. Hour and 40
Almost
minutes.
2 hours because of
It's
Dub.
10:30 where I'm at, bro.
Yeah, Dub, how do you think I feel? It's 3:40. It's 3:40.
Oh my god.
In the AM because you wanted to delay me an hour and 40 minutes.
It's not my fault that our boss had other plans.
It's your
Don't
fault.
blame
All right,
me.
I'll put my name up. I'm gonna get back on that.
But
y'all
y'all
didn't give me enough time, but I'm gonna get back on that.
Y'all be easy. Peace.
All right, man.
Yo, man, stop.